And we're live. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We've finally made it. This has been another epic technical hurdle to get going, but we're live and it's all looking good. I'm just going to move myself around a bit there. Hello. I'm not sure how many people are in the room already. I never have the numbers up, so I never know. I see there's... Yes, so just quickly, we have me, Scruffy, here. We've got Norm, and we have Kendall. Say hello, Kendall.
Joining via satellite connection. So there's no video. We don't have them. We don't have videos in my house.
That's right. Kendall, of course, coming to us live from outer space, where video signals are hard to get a hold of. So yes, we have Kendall with us. He'll be...
But I'm here, right? I mean, that's pretty important, right?
Yes.
Sort
of important.
Little bit important.
So what are we doing today, Norm?
Today we're going to be going through a delve or two. We're actually going through two delves, two quick fire delves to complete a single objective. We're doing a one-shot of Ironsworn. We're going to do this as a guided session with myself as a GM and
hey Banana. Sorry.
And myself as a GM and Scruffy and Kendall as players. And we've never done this as a GM-led thing before, so we're going to be finding our feet between the balance of how much is led by myself, how much is led by the players as we go. I think that's going to be part of the fun. But yeah, welcome Banana and welcome Rob. Good to see you both.
Yeah, as you can see, it's we'll be using Roll20 here. We've got our character sheets with pre-genned names that we haven't even looked at changing yet. We might keep them as they are.
I changed mine.
Oh, did you change yours?
Yeah, mine was like Ia Groomblem. I was inspired by, but I changed mine.
And we'll be playing a bit of the old Ironsworn.
Scruffy, tell everyone about your character.
Oh, already? Okay, so my character's name apparently is Poodoo No Frizzle. Maybe subject to change, but I might just keep it. I quite like Poodoo. That's pretty cool. We're using Roll20 here, and when you select the Ironsworn module, it just auto names them, I think that's pretty cool. My character is he's an interesting fellow. So he grew up.
Dollar One says they love the character named progress sheet.
Yep, good character.
That's my character.
Our mascot. So yeah, he grew up squiring for a kind of adventurer type, spelunking through different ruins and dungeons and things like that. This guy was searching for his fortune. He kind of hired my character as a young lad to help carry his stuff, basically. And one day, they went somewhere they shouldn't have been going, and things went a little sour. And essentially, everyone died except Poodoo, who was kind of at the sidelines, helping carry the bags and things. And he managed to escape, but he was permanently marked by the incident and kind of maybe cursed by it all. And ever since then, he's heard voices in his head. And they kind of manifest as a bit of a twitch. His hair has gone completely grey. One of his eyes has lost all its colour. He's got one grey eye, and he's lived his whole life now. He's a grown man now with these voices in his head and trying to search out what they are and maybe find a way to get them to shut up. They're a bit of a burden, but he's learned to kind of live with them. He's talented swordsman and shield bearer. That was what he was, spending his youth learning, the arts of combat, and we'll unpack that a little bit more later and exactly the mechanics behind what I want to do with his twitch. Once we hear from you, Kendall, and your character.
Yes. Well, I mean, you don't expect that much. So. I haven't got much of a backstory in mind. I'm not a huge backstory kind of person, but I've got a character here called Ethram Clearwater. And if you look, they are kind of the opposite almost of Poodoo. That was kind of an accident, but yeah, lots of wits and shadow as opposed to, and very little heart and iron. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, Poodoo's gone full on iron, little bit of heart and edge, very bad wits and shadow. He's a very superstitious man. I mean, you would be if you've encountered that sort of mystical, spiritual situation growing up, and he believes basically every merchant who tries to sell him a protective charm. Like he properly rattles when he walks, you know. But he's a very practical soul as well. Bit gullible, very practical.
That's still Scruffy's character, just to be clear about that.
Oh yes, sorry.
No, that's fine. So my character basically has a really big book. That's their draw. It's kind of an encyclopedia, sort of grimoire, sort of collection of knowledge. You know, think the Voynich manuscript or something. That would be fun. Oh. I wish I thought.
I don't know what that is. What's the Voynich manuscript? It's the
Voynich manuscript. It's this famous unsolved book that basically it's an illustrated codex that's been handwritten in an otherwise unknown writing system, and it's from the early 15th century.
Wow.
So it's possibly some sort of invented script, like by someone, but.
And your character's carrying around a similar sort of
not in terms
arcane tome that...
Yeah, probably more accessible in terms of reading. But yeah, carrying around a sort of arcane tome that needs finishing, and that's kind of their goal. It's to kind of collect the sum of all human knowledge, which I haven't quite solidified the background vow yet, and please crucify me for that. But in my mind, it is basically collect the entire sum of human knowledge in this book.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where they're going. Then, you know, they're the professory sort of type. So I go over my if I go over my assets very quickly, this will give you an idea.
Okay.
Norm said we were allowed 4 assets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, he's very nice. So, Scruffy, if you want to add one quickly.
Yeah, we'll do.
You have 4 assets and tick 1 box extra because you've already been on a long journey to get to where you are at the moment, and I'll come to that in a moment.
Yes. So, just to give you an idea of my character, I've gone for a story weaver.
Nice.
Herbalist, trickster, and then cutthroat, because there's a little bit of the trickster nature coming. So, you know, maybe it'll manifest as a bit of backstabbery or similar. But yeah, Storyweaver is definitely the main one though.
I did not expect trickster and cutthroat for your professor type. I imagined him as a bit more of a doddery soul, so it's interesting to see he's got a bit of a dark side too.
Getting very Jafar vibes.
All right, well, I'm going to add my asset now. While I do that, I'm just going to quickly say about I've made a custom asset, and this is pending GM approval. So what I was thinking we could...
I've already seen it.
Yeah.
It's completely fine.
So what I was thinking we could do with his Twitch is bring you guys in, and the voices in his head could be from Twitch. So anytime during this stream or any moments in the adventure you guys think, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they did this or whatever, whack it in chat, either just as a suggestion or as an actual quote for what the voices are specifically saying, and I'll do my best to try and run with it, have those voices come unbidden to Poodoo in the moment, and he'll kind of react to what you guys say and what's going on. And if he does that, and if he does follow the advice from Twitch, however dangerous or weird it might be, then I'll get a few little bonuses like a +1 and some extra momentum on a hit. But I'll take my last little asset now, and I was going to take... I was kind of toss up between this one and one of my other combat talents. So we've got Swordmaster, Shield Bearer. He walks around kitted out. Hello, Pokey Kid. And I've taken Loyalist. So anytime I aid my ally, I add 1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. And the reason for that is because he's very much used to a supporting role. You know, he grew up as a squire, learned how to work as part of a group, part of a team, and he's always looking to help out. Yeah, cool.
And you may tick a second box on one of them as well,
Oh,
Scruffy.
okay. Tick a second box.
It's like you didn't read the brief.
I didn't see there was a brief.
Did you not see that massive long Discord message that Norm wrote for us? Oh,
I'm not.
kick him off the podcast.
Oh, maybe I'll take this extra one for loyalist here. When an ally makes the endure strength move, you may add blonde and take 1 momentum on a hit. That'd be quite a nice little one to have, I think, wouldn't it?
Pokey Kid says your Twitch idea is a bad idea because they're an evil guy.
There is a caveat.
The voices don't have to have my guy's best interests at heart at all. These suggestions can just be things that you think would be fun or funny or bad even, and it's up to my character whether they react to it. I'm not necessarily going to take every voice that comes into my head and run with it, but, sometimes I will. It'll be all dependent on what makes sense for Poodoo in the moment.
There is also a caveat that if you would like Scruffy to continue appearing on the podcast, do not induce him to do silly things. Or I will have to kill him.
I should probably... My partner has made this for herself, and I thought it'd be perfect for this occasion. Is that the right way around? What do you think?
You've got props.
Now I'm an Ironsworn.
Yeah.
Hey,
like
is that pretty good?
A true Ironlander.
There we go. I'm feeling like I'm getting into the Poodoo mindset already.
$1 says your voices say improviser haiku.
That is a bad idea.
Okay.
I don't even know how many words. I wanted to put syllables in there, but I got it wrong. To make a haiku. There we go.
I've got a haiku for you. $1. 110, 111, 112.
Ooh.
Haiku for you there by a robot.
That's a goodie. I like that one.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready for some scene setting?
Yes. Let's strap ourselves in. So, hello to everyone who's here. Sorry if that was a bit of a rant. I didn't get to say hello to some of you. Hi. And hope you enjoy the show.
Excellent. So, the quest began at Summersong. Summersong is a settlement on the Ragged Coast. The weather there is warm, or warm for the Ironlands anyway. And the people there mostly tend to their farms, drink their wine, and pay their respects to the gods. But make no mistake, their wardens are feared and revered throughout the Ironland as skilled and well-trained enforcers of righteousness. Probably because this area has quite a bit of moolah, quite a bit of money. The overseer Zura has sent our two intrepid explorers, our two intrepid adventurers, on a quest. This quest comes with the promise of land and wealth for them, their children, and their children's children. Such is the epic nature of their quest. The quest is to reopen the legendary or potentially non-existent gate that Zura believes unlocks the gateway between the living and the dead. The reason for this is because in this version of the Ironlands, in one of the truths options, you can have it that the dead don't rest. And this is exactly what's happening in this version of the Ironlands. The dead here do not rest, they burn their bodies, and some of the most superstitious people believe the oldest stories, that the gate was closed long ago, and these spirits have nowhere to go, which is why the dead does not rest. They've accepted this mission, and as a team, they've spent so far just under 2 years travelling. They've travelled from the Ragged Coast, over the plains of the Havens, survived through the dark and dangerous deep wilds, navigated through the rivers, and the harsh environment of the hinterlands. They've climbed the mountains of the north, and they've seen what no other islander has seen to their knowledge, which is the other side of the mountains. They kept going through blizzard, through snowstorm. They huddled together for warmth. They've done all they can to survive. And eventually they found what they believed to be their entrance. A forest far away from the snow, or at least it appears to be far away from the snow. The air here is not cold anymore. The air here is calm. And around this forest is a red mist. And all the old stories confirm that it is this red mist that is the entrance between this realm and the next. And this is where we join our adventurers here at this red misted forest as they take their first steps inside. And as you take your first steps inside, let's see what we're going to find. We're going to use the delve moves for this. So I'm going to make the first move to reveal. We're looking at Haunted Tanglewood. It's going to be a formidable delve. So can we set up a formidable progress sheet just so we can get through this? Do you want me to do that?
So I was just reading what PokeKid was saying. I need to improvise my next choice in the voice of Jon Snow. I feel like Pudu does not know who that man is.
Okay. Have we got a progress sheet set up?
Yes, there's a progress ad. Right, formidable.
Sorry,
formidable
guys.
delve.
I was paying attention to...
Okay, yeah. And what's it called? What are we calling this? What was it called again?
We can go Red Misted Forest.
Red Misted Forest. There we go. And it's formidable. And then we got... Okay.
Excellent.
So Norm's rolling... What are you rolling now, Norm? You're rolling...
So I'm rolling to reveal the first thing you encounter.
Yeah, and specifically you're rolling 2d10s and...
That's it.
That's it?
That's 2d10s. And on Haunted Tanglewood, the first thing you're going to encounter is a waterway. Now, I'd like you guys to name who's going to lead you there. Who's going to lead you towards the waterway, and how are they going to do it? They're going to do it with haste, with stealth or trickery, or with observation, intuition, or expertise.
I feel like they're very much your character, Ethram Kendall, would be in charge of the route finding and the directions. And then if any trouble comes along, that's when my Pudu will step forward.
Well, you say that, but Pudu is walking forward first. Pudu is going first. Like, absolutely.
Sure.
What if there's monsters?
Okay. So I'm at the front of the column, but I'm very much following your instructions, I imagine.
Right. Okay.
Like you're saying, a left here, straight on here, and I'm just boldly marching forward,
Right. So we're at a waterway in the red misted. We're not actually at an entrance to a cave or anything. Okay. My bad.
So how are we doing this then? What were the options again, Norm?
So you can do so with basically you can roll edge, shadow, or wits, which is with haste is edge, with strength or trickery is shadow, and with observation, intuition, or expertise it's wits.
I feel like we'll have our wits about us for this moment.
Yes, yeah. We've spent some time in this forest, like or around the forest, journeying there. And the red mist is not making us feel too good. But yeah, for now, I think wits about us.
Especially if you're telling me where to go and stuff. It's observation. You're looking for the best route up ahead and saying, "Oh, take this little incline. It looks like a shortcut or whatever."
Yes.
So yeah, I'd say that's a wits roll. Do you want to give us a wits roll then, Kendall? And me and Kendall will be doing.
So you're doing the move now called Delve the Depths.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Me and Kendall will be doing our rolls on the Roll20 here, so you'll be able to see them coming out on the screen here. These were just practice rolls. This complication here hasn't happened yet. So Kendall's roll should appear just down the bottom right of the screen there. That's why I put Norm up there for now.
Okay. So we're delving the depths.
What'd you get?
That is a weak hit.
A weak hit.
Excellent.
So Kendall's rolled a 6 on his d6, about as good as you can get, but he rolled a 5 and a 10 on the 2d10s, the challenge dice. He added his wits, which was... Oh, no, so yeah, that was with the add, is it?
Yes,
so
it was only a 3.
So you rolled
D6.
a 3, you added 3 to get the 6, and then a 5 and a 10 from the challenge dice.
Excellent. So on a weak hit, I've already rolled. You will mark progress. So I'm going to tick up 1 progress. Excellent. And we're also going to reveal a danger. I've got a few prepped, but based on what you've encountered, I think I already know the danger you're going to face. So I'm not going to roll.
So just for anyone watching, this is the progress track we're filling in is how close we are to getting through the red misted forest, and we've ticked 1 whole box with our little scouting here. But as Norm says, we're about to encounter something dangerous, and it might be Kool-Aid. You're right, Pokey Kid.
Excellent. So, Kendall, why don't you take the spotlight for now? You led the way to the waterway. How is the waters that you find? How do you get there? Explain how you're. Give me a little bit in your character. How are you feeling about this? How did you approach and get from where you were to where you are now?
So this forest is a little bit twisted. Is that the right word? Yeah, it's a little bit twisted. So it takes a while, possibly longer than it feels like it should, to get from spotting the waterway, in the distance. It's quite thick, quite dense, so we see it from quite close, and yet when it feels like we're there, or we should be there, it's still a few more minutes of walking away. So the movement's kind of staggered almost, like yeah.
I'm imagining there's kind of an oppressive heat creeping in. It's almost humid here, yeah?
Yeah, well, mist will do that, won't it? No, the river itself, I don't think is particularly strong flowing, or the waterway. It's kind of a river.
You see Pudu eyeing the water a little bit. It looks like he's tempted to get in. It's cool off.
It is sort of almost black, like you can't see the bottom at all. But it doesn't seem to be particularly fast flowing. Yeah, and it's actually quite small, but like on a rocky outcrop. So we're on rocks. We're not on the ground necessarily, the grass or anything. So we don't know. We can't see how deep this thing actually is.
Excellent. And Pudu, are you you said you're quite tempted to get in. How do you act on that impulse?
So he has a little moment. You can tell that the voices in his head are affecting him. You're used to this by now, Kendall. So you've seen this happen a few times, Pudu. You know when he's hearing something otherworldly, and he's staring deeply into the water. His eyes have taken off the path, and as he's walking and approaching, he's looking at it. He hasn't made any moves to go in there yet, but he's definitely considering it. He's looking at it, and he's kind of maybe wipes some sweat off his brow, and he's kind of maybe a little bit stepping off the path and walking towards the water to get a closer look at it.
Perfect. And at that moment, I'd like for you to enter the fray.
Thanks, $1. Okay. So I'm going to enter the fray.
Because the voices were strangely loud for there. It was almost like there were 2 voices at once. There was one that was you're used to, and there was another one that was enchanting, enticing. There was one that was calling you to the water and compelling you.
Okay.
And I think you're going to encounter a sodden.
Oh no. So would this be ambushed then?
Yeah, I'd say this is an ambush.
Okay, so I'm rolling my wits, which is 1. So this isn't going to be a great roll. And so modifier, I don't put anything in modifier, do I? Because there's no extra. Oh, I do. I was listening to my voices. My asset gives me +1. So I'll add 1 to my modifier. And I'll take +1 momentum if this is a strong or a weak hit. It's a weak hit.
It's
Are
a
we
weak
both
hit.
entering
Oh,
the
almost a
fray?
strong hit. Look, so I rolled. Well, I got a 7 eventually, and the challenge dice were a 1 and a 7, so almost a strong hit.
Yes, I would also like you to enter the fray as well, Kendall.
Right. Okay. So it's wits.
So I'm gonna take the initiative. Prepared to take the initiative. By the way, as my weak hit thing, and I'll take the +1 momentum now, and then you can do your roll.
Thank you. And Kendall, how did you get on?
So that's a strong hit for me.
Excellent. What are you going to do with it?
The sudden. Well, there is no choice on a strong hit to enter the fray. You just take momentum and have initiative. So
I couldn't find it.
In this case, I think what's happened is Etherim's picked up a rock to kind of demonstrate that it's a really bad idea to jump in that water.
Mm-hmm.
To throw it in, and as they're picking this rock up, they happen to be at the right angle to catch, like the streams of light that are just making it through the trees just reflect off part of the sodden, and they see it and they're ready with the rock. As an improvised weapon.
Yeah, and
just the right angle.
I imagine from my vantage point, Pudu's been able to see the water sort of break, and he's immediately ready. You know, he's a wary sort of fella. He's always on guard for something supernatural to happen. You know, his voices have led him astray plenty of times before, and he's ready for any danger. And he has his hands, like muscle memory, go to his sword and his shield, and they're both out and ready as the sodden crests the water.
Yes, the sodden's eyes are just below the water, like piercing straight back at you. They are sunken and hollow and dead, and they're ready to pounce. So, yeah.
Should we get an image of the sodden up? Do we have the rule book on here?
Do we have that technology?
Do we have the capability?
I'm not sure with our issues earlier.
I could show the camera.
Oh, that'd be great.
Do it the low tech way, yeah. Do it the low tech way.
Or I might be able to upload the rule book here actually.
Here's the sodden.
Just in case we come across things in the future. Oh, that's it's interesting. I had a much more grotesque version in mind when I first encountered one.
What I want you to know from this sodden is that they are the impression you see is immediately haunting. They're dead, lifeless, sad, and extremely angry. Excellent. So you have initiative. How do you want to use it?
Cool. So would you like to throw your rock first, Kendall? As my sword and shield come round into focus, would you like to act before me, or would you like to see Pudu go first? I think you had probably a better option to act because you were preempting it a little bit more.
I'm not sure particularly how strong this rock will be, but yes, I think throwing the rock is going to be the most instinctive thing to do. I've got it. Chuck that rock right at that sodden.
What are you trying to do?
At its face. Trying to get rid of it.
Are you trying to hurt it or just like scare it away, or?
But either or both.
Okay, it's probably a strike. Would you agree?
Yes, I'd say it's probably a strike.
Mm-hmm.
Either or both for the hurt. Like if it gets hurt, it gets hurt. If it runs away, it runs away. Something tells me it's not going to run away.
Yeah, I was going to say spoiler. It's not going to run away.
So let's do right between the eyes. Bam.
What did you roll? Oh,
another strong hit.
Yes.
So
excellent.
Sorry, I was
plus 1 harm. So 2 harm total.
Nice.
Retaining initiative. So not only has the rock struck true, but it's knocked the sodden sort of dazed slightly. If sodden managed to get dazed, which it doesn't look like they do, but it's knocked it back slightly to give Pudu a chance to act as well.
Fantastic.
Excellent. It lets out this cry that goes throughout the forest. The leaves around you shake, but she hasn't opened her mouth at all.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
Okay,
Scruffy,
I feel like
how are you using your initiative?
I feel like in Pudu's world, you have, this is like the thing that he is always on high alert for, and so he's just literally going to slash out with his sword and have a strike himself. He's shield in front of himself, sword at the ready. He's trying to just cause as much harm to the monster as he can.
Excellent. So any harm done will be 2, because you're using a lethal weapon.
Wicked. Let's roll strike. So this will be iron because it's a close quarters attack, right?
Yep.
So in terms of physicality, so it's come out from the lake. Am I having to sort of lunge over the sort of lake to swipe here, or is it kind of coming out onto the bank?
In response to the rock, it's sort of let down a little bit. It's taller than you would imagine, much taller than you thought it could be. Its hands are sort of like leering towards you, Scruffy.
Okay, so I'm sort of approached the edge of the bank, and I'm just trying to hit this thing. Cool. So no modifier there. Let's hit it hard. Oh, we did. Strong hit. So with an even. So it's very good. Very good news indeed. Opportunity. So it's +1 harm. I retain the initiative and an opportunity.
Excellent. Do you have something in mind for the opportunity?
Well, I guess
Or I could roll.
I guess ideally it would be to maybe... What would he want to do in this situation? I think he'd want to take it out of its kind of natural habitat. Maybe he'd want to slash at it, and sort of with his other hand, with his shielded hand coming forward. So do a kind of backhanded slash here, and with his shielded hand, grab it round the neck, pull it onto the ground, sort of maybe to kind of, really dominate the creature here.
I think that's a perfect opportunity, and it's a really good advantage to take on a strong hit with a match. Let's do the harm first. So the harm is +1 harm because it's a strong hit, right?
That's right. So
you get 2 as standard.
Okay.
Because you've done harm with a lethal weapon, and then the +1. So just so you're aware, you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, and because you've had all strong hits, remember at any point you can make that progress move to end the fight because you've had a strong hit as well.
Cool.
But up to you.
So is it me to act still, or is there something?
You guys have retained.
Yeah, we've kept an this thing's.
I think in response to being pulled out, it's now furious. I mean, furious. The water has become severely unstable. It's like pulsating, and this creature looks like you can see the full extent of like rotten flesh and just the otherworldliness about it.
That's another image for a sodden there, guys.
This is exactly what it's looking like now outside of the water. Perfect, Oliver. Thank you. But yeah, you've retained initiative, Scruffy, so you've hurled it to the ground, and I think either of you can take the next move, but I'm sure you both agree that narratively it would make most sense for Scruffy to act again.
Yeah, so I'm now that it's pinned on the ground here, I'm just going to try and almost coup de grace it and jam my sword into the back of its head, just to finish the thing. Well, not necessarily finish the thing, but make it as... But maybe I'd see this as a situation where I see it as ready to die, and maybe this would be a end the fight move.
I think we want to end this fight.
Yeah.
We got to end this fight.
So
we're kicking its.
I'm just gonna try and end the fight straight away here.
Yes.
It feels like it might be a bit premature. Like if I was metagaming, I'd want to fill a few more of those boxes in. But I feel like from Pudu's perspective, this is over. This thing's a lesser beastie. So he's just going to try and jam that sword into the back of its head and kill it.
Yeah, go for it.
So the way
you make a
progress move works in Ironsworn is a bit different to normal rolls. Normal rolls, we've been rolling a d6, adding modifiers, and then 2d10. In this case now we're just rolling 2d10, and we're trying to roll under how many progress boxes we filled in. So we filled 5 in, so I need to roll 5 or under. Let's see how I do. Filled progress boxes, 5, submit. And Poodoo ends the fight. Weak hit. So we managed to end the fight with a weak hit. We rolled a 4 and a 6, so that's still 1 hit. On a weak hit, we succeed, but we must choose one of these horrible situations. Either it's worse than we thought, endure harm, I'm overcome with stress,
I've got something for you.
Victory short-lived, etc. Norm's got something really lined up. So what happens?
I see where it's going.
I've got. No, it's not what you think. So you're going to endure stress. Okay.
Okay.
So because it's formidable, you take 3.
Okay. So
and the reason you endure stress
to 2, and then I'm going to roll on here in a minute.
The reason you endure stress is because as you're making the devastating blow to end the fight, the sodden and the voice it was using to call you into the water is instead now afraid, and in its fear it lets its guard down and projects to you everything it can, not on purpose. It just happens, and you see the Sodden's life before they were a Sodden. You see the life that they led, and the life they led was as a handmaiden to an overseer, and she was beautiful. And the overseer wanted her for himself, but she refused his affection. And in a fit of jealousy and rage, he took her to a river and drowned her.
Oh my God.
And you see this whole life pass before you, and you feel her rage and her contempt and her sorrow, and that's why you have to endure stress.
Oh no.
That's intense.
Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah,
It's life and death stuff here, people.
I'm gonna roll that endure stress now. So stat spirit. That's horrible. God, I feel so bad. Modifier, no modifier. So we roll 4. Oh, it's a miss. Yeah, this really affected.
That makes sense.
This really affected Pudu, which means on a miss, you also suffer -1 momentum, and if you're at 0 spirit, bad stuff happens. We're still at 2 spirits, so we just suffer -1 momentum. And yeah, you kind of see this happen then, Kendall. You see Pudu, he easily thrusts this sword into the back of the Sodden's head, and in its death throes, you see his eyes go wide with shock and fear as he's seeing all these images, and you can tell something's happening there. And eventually, Pudu just his arms go limp, and he just sort of slumps to the side, and yeah, and he's kind of a little bit catatonic for a moment. Yeah, it would be nice to get a hug after all that stress level on your right.
That ain't happening.
You guys are in, the sort of limbo between life and death at the moment. Sad things happen. Dead people aren't happy.
Limbo
But-
of the lost.
So what do you do, Kendall, in response to this? Do you approach me or do you just carry on?
No, just carry on.
Yep, that's fine. Okay.
Used to it, innit?
Okay.
Excellent. So I'm going to roll for the next
Pudu definitely heard that voice, Pokey, and as Kendall's character walked past, kind of cinematically, you see a kind of maybe an eyes narrowing, a twitch, and then an eyes narrowing as Kendall didn't even offer any support. Support Pudu lying on the floor there. So
fine.
I keep saying Kendall. I've forgotten your character's name.
Ethram Clearwater.
See Ethram wander away. Pudu, his eyes narrow a little bit, but he does get himself back to his feet, shakes himself off. Maybe I think he pulls out from his pocket some beads and transfers them into his other hand. Does a little ritual thing, little moment of quiet reflection, puts them in his pocket, still visibly shaken, very pale in his face, but he's falling in line behind now Etheram, who's leading the way.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing I've rolled is another waterway. So what I'm imagining is this sort of waterway you've encountered has turned into a river, and you've both identified it as a sort of clear way through what is otherwise dense and twisted forest, right? So I've agreed to follow this waterway down and hope that gets you progress towards this gate that you don't really know where it is, but you know you're in the right realm at least. Mm-hmm. So who's going to be leading? Who's going to be leaving this down for the depths move?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm not sure that Poodoo's necessarily is he up for leading after that?
I think he would. I think if you were to gesture for him to go forward, he's quite a man of duty, and he's not someone who has much lingering resentment for stuff. When you have voices in your head all the time, I think you do just learn to roll with the punches a bit. If you were to motion for him to go forward, he absolutely would.
I mean, so I think it's more a case of like, because there's been this fight. It was an easily trounced fight, but it's a fight nonetheless. It's a little bit of danger. I think it might be more prudent to just just slow down a little bit. Just and take it slower and quieter and more observational. So more cautious is the word I'm looking for. More cautious. So I think
plus wits.
Yeah, you're saying wits? Okay, no probs.
So I've just realised our title is still Marvel and Chill with Scruffy, and I'm just trying to figure out how to change that to it. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no. Well, it's the chill part. Well, it's not the chill part, is it?
Yeah. And I can't remember how you changed that. Professional streamer, Scruffy. Yeah. But yeah. I'm still listening.
Well, I'll delve the depths with wits now then.
What'd you get?
That's a weak little hit.
Excellent. On a weak hit, I'll roll on the little table, and I've rolled a 96. And with wits, on a 96, take both mark progress and find an opportunity.
Sweet.
Perfect. Isn't that nice?
Very nice.
I've marked the progress for you. That's another progress box filled in. And I'm just going to roll on the find an opportunity to see if that prompts my brain to come up with anything at all. 88. Okay. All right, that kind of confirmed where I thought I was already going with that anyway, so that's really good. Let me get my notes. You're about to encounter someone.
Right.
If you give me a moment.
No worries. Okay, cool. I've set it up properly now. So we're Ironsworn Delve with Kendall and Norm, and we're not on Tabletop Simulator category anymore. That
with
could have been very
Golden
confusing.
Geek nominated.
Yes. Sorry for the little distraction there, guys. And
that's all right.
I'm getting some twitches in my in Pudu's head. He's so you've led the way, haven't you, Kendall? Yeah?
Yes, we've been leading the way. We've marked another progress, and we've found an opportunity. Norm's checking something, and it's all very exciting.
So yes, the opportunity you find is you're walking and you're following this river, and the forest starts to kind of open up before you. And as it's opening up, you're starting to see things that are alarming to you, but they don't appear to be interested in you. You start to see sort of what you can only describe as like spirits or entities. And they're sort of floating aimlessly in this red misted forest, and paying zero attention to either of you. Absolutely no attention whatsoever.
So they're kind of like will-o'-the-wisps, like ethereal sort of lights and nothing humanoid. It's all kind of just
vaguely sort of humanoid.
Oh, okay.
Some are fuller formed than others. Some are just faded lights. Some are almost as if they've been blown out, you know? And these are sort of floating, and the more the forest opens up, the more and more of these you see, until you hear someone singing a song to themselves. And it's not long before you see them crouched over, and they're picking flowers. They're picking wild flowers. And upon hearing you walking, they stand up, and they are just only taller than your knee. And they are the oldest man you think you've ever seen. This guy is so old. He has one wispy part of the beard coming off his chin, which is all grey, and apart from that, no hair anywhere else. He has massive earlobes that droop down to his shoulders in the way that old men's ears just keep getting larger and larger, right? And he is completely nude, and his skin is sagging off the bone in ways that are you thought not even possible.
Wow.
Okay. But as he turns around, he is very nice to both of you and says, "Greetings. What are you doing in my garden?"
So I'm assuming that we were a little bit surprised by this because he's very small. I thought he might be further away, but he's just very small. Greetings. What do we go ahead? Scruffy.
So I imagine that Pudu's a bit freaked out by all this, and after the encounter with the Sodden, he's kind of expecting that this isn't a human. This isn't. So he's kind of almost going to step protectively in front of Ethereum, and he'll kind of directly confront this little creature. He isn't drawing any weapons, but you can see his arms are sort of lingering at his waist. He's ready, and he says, "What manner of man lives here?"
He says, "What a great question. What a great question. I don't get a lot of company around here, except for my children." And he sort of vaguely gestures towards all the lights. And he says, "You two are mortal, yes?"
Yes.
Allegedly.
Aye, we're mortal. Are you human? Pudu looks kind of very flat-footed in this moment, like not quite sure how to talk to a spiritual creature like this. He hasn't encountered very many, although he does always seek them.
And he says, "Do you know where you are, my boy?"
Well, maybe you can tell me where we are, old man.
He sort of chuckles. Of course I can. I live here. He says, "You were lost then. That's okay. I can help you find your way."
Is there any sort of signs of verdant nature around? Anything that he could be living off, like food or anything?
There's not really. There's what you would expect to find in a normal forest, right?
Okay. So
except for
it would be theoretically possible for a human to live here.
Imagine the way this forest looks is imagine a normal forest, but a forest that you've dreamt, where the sort of it's not fully fleshed out. You keep thinking you understand what it is, but then you look and it's something different.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what's happening. This is where you are in this red misted forest. Okay? So like a dreamscape. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Which I think is perfect for you guys to really improv with as well, and you can really run with that if you want to.
Cool.
And they say, this is the land between the living, the mortals, and points at you, and the dead. And he said, we've been here for longer than your mountains, longer than your grass and trees. And my job is to tend the forest. What is your purpose here?
I think at this point, Pudu's going to look kind of to Ethereum with a kind of raised eyebrow sort of thing, like, what do you make of this? I didn't expect to speak to a person today. I didn't expect company, you know?
You guys probably haven't seen anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
it's been a long time, I imagine. We've been...
Yeah. You've been traveling over the, like, snowy mountains, and now you have this person in front of you. Yeah, I get it, big time.
Yeah, and I imagine a lot of our conversations up to this point have been very much you saying it's probably not going to be much there. You know, it's probably just going to be, you know, a few undeads and stuff. Like, I don't think either of us expected this. My character maybe has more fantastical ideas of what's here. You know, I think Pudu is expecting to find the answers he's been seeking his whole life here. You know, and it's kind of looking that way a little bit, you know. All his naive fantasies are kind of almost coming true and coalescing. So, but there is that sort of shadow of doubt in his mind there. So I think he's looking to you at the moment as a kind of voice of reason beyond him sometimes.
Beyond just getting super excited.
Yeah. I think he's very much willing to drop his guard, but he's not certain. Sometimes he's been wrong in the past.
So.
He's been conned.
Ethereum's kind of thinking and taking it in. And as the strange tiny fellow says, you know, we've been here longer than the mountains and longer than the grass. I think Ethereum responds quickly and curtly. You are a fool. No one has been around longer than the mountains. For when the mountains were not there, they were still in the earth. They have always been there, just in a different form.
And he sort of chuckles again. Oh, debate. Wow. That's been even longer than the company I've been absent of. And then he sort of turns around and says, well, would you like me to show you around a bit?
I think Pudu's looking again, but almost for permission this time. Like, oh, please, may we? Like, I think maybe he'll even say, what do you make of the man, Ethereum?
I suppose there's no harm in allowing a senile little creature to show us this place.
Before we follow you, old man, earlier you said we have been here longer than the mountains and the rivers. Are you mortal like us, or do you belong to the spirit world?
He says, my belonging is here. It is neither on the other side of the gate, nor is it on the other side of our red mist. It is here. It is to look after this place. This place is neither here nor there. And my role, like my brothers and sisters, is to tend to my specific task of keeping the forest.
I feel there is much we can learn from you. What is your name, stranger?
My name is Serene, and you may call me Serene. And then he says, come, I'll take you to my abode.
Now shoot one last look to you, Ephraim, as a kind of, do we follow? Like, as a narrow-eyed little one of these.
Yeah, I think Ephraim's kind of interested. Curiosity piqued, as they say.
Oh.
Yes. And on the sorry. Sort of making conversation. I think he'll say. So tell me, Serene, your role is to tend to the trees. What did you do before there were trees?
And this is kind of as we're walking now. We're falling in step behind.
Yes. Yeah.
He says, these trees are much older than the trees beyond the red mist.
So
It's walking.
time passes differently here.
He says, oh, yes, you come to know this.
And the trees, they were young once.
He says, not that I remember.
Were you young once, old man?
And he says, not that I remember.
Yeah, he does.
Excellent. And this sort of jovial conversation continues until eventually you get to a house which is like a hodgepodge cottage. Something not uncommon to what you'd seen in the Ironlands, but completely overrun with forest. It is like it has been popped out from under the ground. There may well be some stone beneath. There might not be.
Right.
It could be purely forest, for all you know. And there's no door. He sort of walks in. And I'm assuming you guys are going to go in as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll lead the way.
Yes.
And as you walk in, there's already an open fire, and there's sort of nowhere to sit, but he kind of gestures for you to take a seat on the floor next to the fire. And he kind of holds his hand above the fire. There's nothing there, but then when he removes it, there's kind of a teapot, and he puts the wildflowers that he was picking earlier in them and puts it back onto the fire, and again it disappears. And he says, so tell me, travelers, what is your purpose here?
I think, to be fair, I think Pudu's just going to blurt it out and say what we're seeking. What is it again? It's the gateway, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
want to reopen the gateway.
We are seeking a gateway, he'll say, between the living and the dead.
Excellent. Do you want to do me like a gather info?
Yeah, I will. So, gather info, that is an adventure move. And I think I'll be rolling with... It's just with wits, that one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Great.
By the way, you're reacting as players exactly how I wanted you to. I want you to be like completely like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah. The mechanics come secondary, don't they? That's the thing. So yeah, I'm rolling with wits. Fantastic. If I mess this up, Kendall, you can always follow up, yeah?
Absolutely not.
So I'm rolling, and I rolled a weak hit. Hey.
Okay, fine. Remind me of the text on a week.
So the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. There's that momentum back from the horrible side.
I need no more information. That's fine. He says, yes, the closed gate. He says, this was the task of one of my many brothers and sisters, was to look after the gate so that these, and he gestures outside to the floating orbs, so that these may pass as we intended. He says, I cannot remember how long this has been closed. And it's causing quite the trouble in your realm, isn't it?
Yes, we have many a story of the dead walking the earth. In our 2-year travels, we've encountered all manner of tale and creature. And I myself lost a dear friend many, many years ago and have been permanently marked by the undead, or the supernatural, the spirit world.
And he kind of looks at you quizzically, and then sort of nods his head. And then he reaches into the fire and takes his teapot off and just sort of gestures it towards you as if, do you want a cup of tea?
I think it's very almost sort of, he kind of slumps. It's almost kind of childlike. He grasps onto it like maybe this will help. Almost like it's kind of almost a sense of trepidous urgency. He's maybe shaking hands as he takes the glass and
yeah, I might even get you to like repair some stress if the conversation goes.
Yeah,
really
I was
well.
thinking of heartening here. I think it will depend on if I'm able to broach the subject of specifically the girl in the lake, or maybe something to do with the voices. But yeah, certainly this could be a hearten moment. Should I roll for it and we'll see if it?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So this is a. I think I'm getting mixed up with Starforge now. There's hearten in Starforge.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think there's.
You can probably do heal.
Sojourn?
I think they've already accepted you in. You wouldn't have to roll for that.
So heal.
Yeah, I'd maybe do like a.
It's interesting. In Starforge specifically, there's a move specifically like heal for spirit, I think, if I remember rightly. But
we can just copy that over if you want to roll a heal and see how you get on.
Okay, so just roll heal. Yep. Okay, let's give it a go. So I'll roll my lowest, which is wits, and submit. Complication, the worst it could possibly be. A miss with an even.
That's fine.
So if the aid is ineffective, I pay the price.
That's fine. I think what's going to happen here is that first of all, he's going to answer your initial question, and then he's going to move on and explain how the Sodom works and why it happened the way it happened. And I think that information, instead of comforting you, is just going to cause you a little bit more stress.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Sorry, Scruffy.
That's quite all right.
Okay, so he answers your initial question by saying, I'm glad you mortals have arrived, because it is only by drop of mortal's blood, which we have very little supply of here, that we can open the gate again. I can tell you the location. The location is at Castle Farina. Have your stories told you of this? I don't know if they have they?
I have no idea. Castle Farina. I
know the name, but not the story.
Castle Farina only shows up for those who are looking for it. Castle Farina must be summoned, and can be summoned at the top of a hill just outside of the depths of my garden, just outside of this forest. If you keep following the waterway, you will eventually get to the top of a hill with a stone tablet. And it's at this stone tablet only those who truly seek Castle Farina can summon it. Do you understand?
Yes, we understand.
Now, he goes on to explain, and I won't roleplay this, but he goes on to explain that the way the Sodom works is there are dangers in the forest as well. Most spirits are harmless, but those that have been injustice in life, their anger is something that keeps them from turning into the entities that you see. It prevents them from turning into light, and they are jealous of the living. He also warns you of, and this is the complication, he also warns you of guardians. This land, and you would have heard of this in your stories and hoped it wasn't true, but guardians that keep this world safe from meddling mortals. These are creatures that have been placed here only to keep you out. And he warns you specifically of the one in the forest, which is called something. Arison. Arison is a humongous spider who's the mother of thousands.
Wow.
Harrison Ford.
Good old Harrison.
Oh, dear.
So that's Arisen. And yes,
Gosh.
this is all the information that he bestows upon all of you. And then he kind of sits there, and as he sits, something of that, a chair sort of appears behind him, and he says, "We will be staying for long."
So, you know stories and mythology, do you, little man?
It's serene.
Yes. Well, I've heard stories. I've heard of nature spirits, sirens, will-o'-the-wisps, all manner of creature designed to lure someone in with a friendly face and a smile, only to leave them or lead them into despair. So, little man, I think if you were really concerned for our safety against this Arison creature or the Guardians, you would guide us yourself.
He says, "That is not my job."
I think I'm trying to compel him here, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
His initial reaction is to say no.
Shall I? How much stress did you want me to take, by the way? How much spirit should I lose?
1.
Yep.
Yeah, he says that's not my job, but I think it's only fair that you give him a compel.
Right. Well, it's definitely a threaten.
Sure.
It's definitely a threaten. But I told a story. We get to add one. That was a story.
Yeah.
Where's compel? Right. Yeah. So compel with iron, but +1. This is going to go so badly. Yeah, that's a miss.
That's a miss. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a nasty miss.
Okay. What does it say on a miss?
They refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. Pay the price.
Okay. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I'm not worried. This guy
They're
was
just
gonna
gonna. They're just going to flat out refuse, and then they're going to inform you. And he says, "Time does indeed travel differently here, smart one. And if you are truly smart, you would be getting this job of yours done and getting out as soon as possible."
How does the tea taste, by the way?
Tell me.
So I'm imagining it's incredibly bitter, and it's kind of like it's a really distinct and weird flavor that my character is. It's almost medicinal. It feels like, this guy might just drink it for sustenance, but it feels like medicine, and so my character's really hoping that it's like going to help with the voices. So he's kind of, he's a bit distracted. He's like trying to hear, are they still there?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's kind of done with you two. He's not rude or anything, but he would see any further time you spend with them as time wasting, and he kind of gets out of his chair and walks away, leaving you in his house, as if he's not at all worried, and carries on tending to the forest.
I think as he's leaving, I'm sort of going to follow him out and say, "Thank you for everything, Serene. We really appreciate your guidance. May we return if we encounter hardships along the road."
He says, does he? Give me a compel.
Okay.
Because I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. So
this would be with heart, I think. I think this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
My character's, he's genuinely. Oh, that's a complication.
Okay.
Is he nomadic,
Okay,
maybe? Or
You're on a miss.
yeah, I got a miss.
It was
Complication.
a miss
even
with
miss.
a match.
Second
So
even
pay
miss
the price,
of the.
right?
So if on a miss, they refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly, pay the price.
Okay, so he's not going to refuse. Instead, he's going to carry on singing. And as he's singing, he sounds like he's getting further away. As he sounds like he's getting further away, you sort of look around and you look again, and he's gone. And you find yourself in a part of the forest which feels darker than where you were before. His house isn't anywhere to be seen, and you feel as though the forest is playing tricks on you. And as the forest is playing tricks on you, you sort of look around and you start to notice that there are, at the top of these trees, spider webs.
No!
Sort of throughout. And that's, I think, complication enough. I know it was on a match, but the match was that the additional bad thing, there were always going to be the threat of spiders. The additional bad thing is that Serena's now completely gone, and
the spiders are here.
The spiders are indeed here, and now an ever-present threat. But we're going to carry on moving through the forest, right?
You say additional bad thing that Serene is now gone. Ethram's opinion is, what a repulsive little creature.
Okay. So I rolled a 94.
I love how different our approaches are. I feel like Poodoo was very, very keen on Serene. He felt like he had a lot of answers.
You do best to avoid friendships with such creatures, Poodoo. They'll bring you nothing but harm.
Ah, you trust no one, Ethram. If it weren't for listening to folk, I wouldn't have this. And he pulls out one of his trinkets. And this will come in mighty handy if we were to meet a hellspawn.
That's amazing. Okay, so I rolled 94, which is something unusual or unexpected. So the place you're going to is something unusual or unexpected. So what the way I see this is something unusual or unexpected here is a complete clearing. So the trees have completely parted. You found your way to this, like, almost plains where the trees are sort of skirted around, almost in a bright sort of a patch of clear, and you can see from one side to the other, right? Which is completely unusual and the red mist is now gone. The red mist, you turn around, it is now behind you. Mm-hmm. Okay, who's leading the way to this clearing?
That's a good question. I think I was out the door first, so I don't see why we would have shuftied around at any point. Especially the spiders around. I don't think that's something that's going to inspire Ethram to take the lead. I think maybe even my sword and shield are in hand now as I'm walking forward. I think with haste. I think as well we'll be trying to get through to the forest quite quickly now. Like, it's playing tricks on us. I think we've upped the pace at this point. You know, we've had a sit down, had a quick moment, and we want to get to the end of this forest as quickly as possible. The last thing that man said was make haste. So I think I'm striding rather quickly at this point.
Well, that's as good a reason as any not to make haste. But unfortunately, Poodoo's legs are longer than Ethram's. So,
well, I'm setting the pace. So
yeah.
Okay. So with haste, so that is with edge.
Cool. So that's my edge is 2. What do I roll?
So you're rolling a Delve the Depths move.
A Delve the Depths move. My first delve roll of the night. So just roll, not roll on table, yeah?
Yeah, just roll.
Okay. And that's with edge. No modifiers. Maybe Ephraim was... Oh, I missed some of the $1's messages. Sorry, $1. I missed. So it says on a miss for edge... you reveal a danger.
You reveal a danger. Perfect.
But we wait. Hang on. Do we mark progress? No, you just reveal a danger. There's a button here for reveal danger, unless you're going to come up with one, Nom.
Oh no, that's okay. I think it makes sense based on what's happened up until now. That as you approach this clearing, you're kind of looking at each other, as if to say, "What is this? What is this tomfoolery?" Right? And as that happens, as you're leading the way, Scruffy, Ethram notices dangling just above you and reaching is a harrow spider about to try to clasp at your head and tangle you up into its web. This is happening. I'd like you both to enter the fray.
Cool. Should we make an enemy box for the harrow spider as well?
Yes. You can use I cleared the other enemy.
Yep. What's its rating?
Harrow spiders I had them down. They're on my denizen matrix. Hold on.
Pretty sure they're dangerous.
I think they are dangerous. Let me just double check. Yes, they're dangerous.
There we go.
Ambushed again?
Yeah, I think you are. You might not have been if you didn't roll a miss.
Quickly, Nom, how similar does Ephraim look to the overlord that drowned the Sodden? Just apropos of nothing.
Not.
I imagine not at all, but
not at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That's fine. He can put that voice to one side in his head. How big is the spider?
How big is a spider? That's a good question, $1. Harrow spiders are big by normal standards. They are not guardian size, though. So these are spiders that will be able to quite easily pick up a human and tie them up in their web. They're about yay big.
Big as like a wolfhound, right? Like, or is it about as big as a person?
Yeah, about the size of a dog. You know,
big dog.
Big dog. It's a big spider.
Yeah.
So it's dangling down, and its legs are itching with anticipation for this meal that it's just about to get. What, have you both entered the fray?
Oh, am I aware of it? Am I?
Well, you're being ambushed, so you roll plus wits.
I'm on it. I'm all over it. I did well at combat last time. Let's see if I can do that again. Enter the fray. Roll my useless wits. I've rolled wits more than anything this game.
Yes.
Hey, strong hit, baby.
Oh.
Oof. Strong hit. Fantastic. So you roll a strong hit, which means you get to keep initiative and take momentum, right?
That's right.
Okay, what about you, Kendall?
I got a weak hit, which I was going to go for 2 momentum. Sort of assuming that the spider's got the drop on us. Well, apparently not on Poodoo, but the spider's got the drop. But you know, we've got the.
As this spider's legs dangle in anticipation, you feel something tickle your shoulder, Scruffy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think, without even looking at it, I'm turning around and slashing upwards at where the thing is.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Based on the roll you just did.
Yeah, I think this is a straight up strike. I'm just trying to take all of its legs off.
Perfect. Go for it.
Here we go.
That's plus iron.
Yeah. Plus my favourite. Plus 3. Wee. Can one of you voices tell me to hit the spider, please? Strong hit. On a strong hit, you inflict harm plus 1 and retain the initiative. So 3 harm to old Spidey.
Done.
Nice. Retain the initiative. Is there anything you'd like to do, Kendall?
I've not got initiative, mate.
Oh, have you not? What happens when I have the initiative? How does that work?
If you retain initiative, you keep going. So it's the same as it works in solo. It's all player facing, so it's up to you what you want to do next. Whilst you have initiative, you can also make strike and end the fight moves. So
cool.
Yeah.
I actually would quite like to. Yeah, I think I. So what specifically just happened? I sliced up. Did I manage to delimb any of it, or?
That's a good question. Were you aiming to?
I wasn't really aiming much in general. Like as I turned around, I think I would have swiped at the nearest thing, which I imagine would have been one of its reaching legs or a couple of its reaching.
Yes. So one of them comes off, and a bit of blood spurts out, and then its other limbs kind of recoil. As it pulls itself back up the web slightly, but not very quickly.
Okay.
And
so I think, it's his signature move, backhanded slash. He's going for a sort of a grapple of the thing to pull it down, sort of into his sword sort of thing. So if you want, that could be a clash as opposed to a strike if it's trying to sort of hit back with its legs. but otherwise I'll just make maybe a secure advantage to pull it down. I don't know.
Yeah. Secure an advantage for sure.
Secure an advantage to pull it towards the grained. So that's going to be with iron, forceful aggression for sure. Yeah. Securing that advantage, trying to get that creature down. Strong hit. Yes.
Perfect.
This spider's not putting up much of a fight here. It's feeling that first hit. So take control. Make another move now, not a progress move. Add +1 or prepare to act. So yeah, I'll do that, and that will be the strike now. So I've managed to grab it. I'm pulling it down into the sword.
Roll again +1.
Yeah, and +1 because of that lovely initiative. So here we go. +1. Submit. It's a weak hit. So I inflict my harm but lose initiative. So it takes 3. Takes 3.
Oh yeah, no, it takes 2.
Oh yeah, 2. Yeah, sorry.
No, it takes 4 actually. Let's recalculate this because you're doing it with the
Oh yes, harm is 2, isn't it? Of course. Yeah.
So it should have an additional 1 and 2. It's up to 9.
Wow.
Why should it have an additional 1?
So every
harm... because it was a strong hit for harm +1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you do harm with a lethal weapon, Kendall, it's always 2 harm.
2 harm. Yeah. So it should have been 3 for the first one. The strong hit.
1. Yeah. So for the first one it's
+1 harm, isn't it? So it'd be 3 harm.
So
that's 6.
No, well, 4 because it's 2 for 1 harm, 2 progress boxes for 1 harm.
Yep. Yeah.
+1
harm is not an extra box. +1 harm is right.
So that's 4, and then +1 is 5, plus your next one is 4, so you're up to 9.
Hold on, just quickly, that the +1 on the strike is +1 harm though.
Oh, is it +1 harm? Not +1 progress. Yeah.
So it should have been 6, and now it should have been 4. So it should be at 10 boxes.
Yeah, he's got 10 boxes filled.
That's
why is it 10 boxes?
So each harm is 2, because I'm using a good weapon, right?
Oh.
And
no, harm is 1 progress box for a formidable. Oh, it's a dangerous foe.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous foe.
Yeah, this was right for the Sodden, where it was only when it was formidable. It's a dangerous foe, so it's 2.
Yeah, I saw formidable, so it's 2 for each one. Yeah, okay, so that's why it's 4.
There we go.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, that's where I was getting confused. It's 2.
No problem.
Yeah, this is part of RP. You got to have these moments.
Yep. Okay, excellent. So it's pretty much filled in. It's really, really worse for wear, but you've lost initiative. Because it's in such a bad way, though, I'm going to hand over to Kendall. What are you doing at this point? It's kind of dropped to the ground, falling at your sword, and it's just trying to, at this point, get away. Are you going to let it, Kendall? Are you going to let it crawl away, or are you going to finish it off?
Let it crawl away.
Yeah. Now, technically, you should roll to end the fight to do this, but I think you have 10 boxes filled in, right?
Yep.
You've absolutely wiped it out. It's definitely just going to crawl away. Okay.
Yes.
For sure.
So it has no intention of doing anything bad here.
No. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say when you carry on from here, you walk across the clearing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get you to, because you didn't make any progress, I'm going to get you to roll down for the depths to see how you get across the clearing from one side to the other. And the other side is just the foot of those trees again. So I'm not going to roll to see what you encounter, because what you're trying to encounter is the same thing as before, before you were interrupted, this clearing. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I understand. Yeah. So we're just getting automatic progress. You're saying?
No, not at all.
No.
You're carrying on from where you were last time.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah, I misunderstood.
Yes. Although to be fair, I don't think this was the most unexpected thing to find. It's quite unexpected to find a clearing, but I think it would have been more unexpected to find Serene again. Just immediately again. That's neither here nor there. Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. Who's going across the clearing?
At the moment, Pudu is looking a bit distracted. You see him twitch slightly. He's looking a bit distracted. He's kind of lost in his thoughts. So So it's up to you to set the pace here, Kendall, and
Right.
snap me out of my reverie.
The reverie of just having a fight with a spider.
No, he's thinking about other stuff.
Right.
He's thinking about, for context, you don't know, your character doesn't know this, but he's thinking about having a swim back in the.
Oh,
with
is
the
he?
Sultan. Yeah, he's thinking about.
Yeah.
He's thinking about how he could have handled that situation differently.
Right. Silly Billy. That's what Poodoo is. That's what we call. That's
And
the technical
he
term.
reacted like this, and he's just seen you let that spider go. I think actually maybe he's even going to say, "Why didn't you kill that spider, Ethram?" Hey, Rock'em Sock'em.
Rock'em Sock'em.
Did you say that as well?
Yeah, he switches to Scruffy's voice and says, "Hey, Rock'em Sock'em."
And then the green screen falls over and it zooms out and you can see there's no ceiling. And it's like,
So as you're kind of maybe walking towards him to get to across the clearing, he this is like he makes eye contact with you and he asks that question. There's clearly an earnest face there, concern, furrowed brow.
why would I kill the spider? The spider posed no more harm, no more threat. It was not trying to lead us into a trap or a dead end, or trying to kill me, or bring me to harm. So I would let it go. Because spiders are the children of this guardian, apparently. And let it be known that I wish to make this guardian an ally if we can, in sparing its children so it might spare us.
You have an interesting way of thinking, Ethram. I hadn't considered that before. Perhaps I'm wrong to assume these spirits and otherworldly creatures mean us harm at every turn.
Sorry, I'm enjoying the irony here.
Your character's coaching, they're making me feel kind of
don't assume.
Not cruelty towards things, but your character just doesn't give a shit about them really.
What? No, it's not. No, character isn't pointlessly cruel.
Okay.
My character just hates that man.
Give me a Delve the Depths.
Let's do it. So,
give me a delve.
Would you like to take point? You the option's open, but if you hover around for too long, then eventually Pudu will step back in, realise that he was meant to be walking that way.
Now, my companion, if we wish to avoid encounters with unpleasant creatures again, I recommend we take much more of a careful approach. Let's move not swiftly. Let's move with
any flooding near you? Well, $1. Let's see how well they roll.
think they were talking to Rockham from Germany.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was about the swimming stuff
again,
as well. I thought it was about maybe Pudu wants to go for a swim again.
Yeah, no, to break character again. I hope it's all good in Germany. I know it's really bad.
Yeah.
Same of course.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, I was saying something about being stealthy, so I'll do my Delve the Depths as a stealthy.
Yes, let's move into the shadows.
No, don't apologize. Like,
no, feel free to go off topic. That's fine. Yeah.
It's just you should. These two are a bit slow. No, sorry.
We were just we were immersed, dude. Come on, we're in our world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really getting into character. I'm insulting you now. Okay. Right. Let's do the delve the depths. I'm sorry, Norm. I didn't mean to call you slow in front of your friends.
That's okay.
Okay. So that is a weak. That's a weak hit.
Okay. Let's see what that means for you.
I could burn momentum for it to be a strong hit.
Oh, could you?
She's offering, yeah.
And I'm tempted. I am actually tempted, and I'll tell you for why. I feel like we just had a moment. You know, like
I really feel like burning momentum. It's a moment where your character feels like it's right for them, isn't it? You know, like this is him kind of taking charge. You know.
yeah. I think we. Yeah, I think we had a moment, and I think that moment has led to Ephraim taking charge. So I'm going to burn that momentum, baby.
Do it.
That is a strong hit.
All of a sudden, I should get the move up so everyone can see what's actually going on.
So that's good, because that's going to just reinforce as well that like Ephraim's is right and this little dude is pointless and wrong.
Okay, so with a strong hit, you mark progress. So I'll just go ahead and mark that, and you find an opportunity. And I'm going to roll to see what opportunity you find.
Hey, bit of randomness.
Excellent. You were alerted to a potential threat. So what I'm going to say is, as you're making your way through this clearing, you see two skeletons that you haven't seen any skeletons at this point. You've seen spirits, you've seen the undead, etc. You haven't seen actual remains. This is the first time you do, and not far from there, you can trace what you assume was the Guardian's footsteps, right? And you look down that way, and you can see it is encroached in spider webs and engulfed in spider webs. And you look to the right, and you can see that there is a small way which is a little bit thicker in terms of forest, but it's leading away from what you assume is the Guardian's lair. So you proceed that way. So that's the opportunity. You're alerted to a threat, the potential Guardian encounter, and you can see a way that may clear that or bypass that, but it's still in the direction you were heading.
I don't know why, but in my mind, you can correct me if this is wrong, Norm, but is the foliage kind of a bit redder in this part of the forest? It's kind of almost, it's kind of gone on a bit spooky and discoloured, and you're getting the sort of orangey autumnal colours out of season around here.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's like the twilight of the seasons, isn't it? Autumn.
The plants turning sort of, almost the leaves of the plants are sort of a weird reddy hue, like Martian almost, you know?
Yes,
Spooky.
that's exactly how, like the red weed, you know?
Yeah, the red weed. Dun, 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 dun.
Don't get me started.
It's one of my favourites. Anyway. Yeah. Pressing on. So this seems to be working. I think we have a little moment maybe even where you see it first, the spider, and point it out to me and do a little hush. You know, I'm visibly impressed.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So your next encounter is going to be... Sorry, let me just double check.
Do we carry on delving at this point, or?
Yes, I'm going to ask you to delve depths in a moment, but the next thing you're going to delve towards is some kind of rocky outcrop. So with that in mind, and I'll get to what that will look like in a moment, who's leading the way?
Can we actually see the Guardian or just their lair? I thought we could see the Guardian.
Just the lair.
Just the lair, yeah. We saw the footsteps of...
My mistake, sorry. Yeah, I thought we could see the actual Guardian. But, like,
If
you see the Guardian's lair.
The Guardian would definitely be able to see you as well.
Right. But we still want to avoid their lair. Like, I think the sort of pointing out to me as a kind of, we don't want to go that path. We want to go around that way instead, you know, rather than... Oh, look at the big spider.
You don't have to.
Well...
I'm not going to railroad you. You can go down that path if you want. I've done some prep.
So,
But yeah, assuming you don't follow that one, then the next place you're going to encounter is going to be some kind of rocky outcrop.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to sneak around this lair. Sneak around the lair while making some sort of slightly snide remark of, it's possible to kill everything you meet, but sometimes it's far easier to avoid having to deal with the consequences.
Yes, so you've said many times before, Ephraim.
And did you see those skeletons there? The bony remains of mortals. Do you think this place really is a midway point? Or is it just more of the damned Ironlands that we haven't found?
Look around you, Ephraim. Never have I seen red weed such as this in all my journeys. This place...
There are many things you've never seen, Poodoo. That does not make them fanciful.
I wonder what it will take to convince you, Ephraim, that there are things not in your books.
This is wonderful.
Still, we've lingered here too long. I worry the spider may return to her lair.
Give me a Delve the Depths, someone. Let's get this show on the road.
Very good. Let's. Do you know what, that giggle? Yeah, that was definitely in character.
Yeah, for sure. I could totally see that.
Yeah. Go on then.
I feel like Ephraim has a good sense of humor about stuff a little bit. I think you kind of have to have put up with Poodoo's nonsense for this long. You kind of have to find it a bit quaint and charming in some way, or you just fucking throttle him.
I'm gonna go for a delve. I'm gonna go for the Delve the Depths. I think if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
You're
up front.
Keep going with stealth.
Yeah, if it's stealthy pathfinding ways, then I don't need to be at the front, do I? That's for sure. I think we yes, of course. See, I was right to trust
Another
you.
Opportunity, baby.
Did you get a strong hit?
Yep.
Fantastic.
And Dabby Dozy, as they say.
Let's see what you get. 92. You're alerted to a potential threat again. I've rolled the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch the numbers to 29.
Cool.
An aspect of the history or nature of this place is revealed.
Ooh.
Well, I know what the aspect's going to confirm, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
No. What's your idea, Kendall? I'm interested.
No, I mean I know it's going to confirm that that it's not particularly supernatural.
Well.
No more so than the rest of the Ironlands.
I really like that our characters are coming at this from completely different perspectives. We've got the wide-eyed wonder of Poodoo, who is expecting, a transcendent experience of who knows what around the next corner, and the sort of scientific, methodical approach from Ephraim, who just thinks it's going to be another one of the many places we've been to before, with just another rational explanation. You can't still quite work out why people are coming back from the dead, but it's just one of those things.
It's not unusual for people to come back from the dead.
It's just normal.
It's just
pretty
you just burn the dead. That's what happens in the Ironlands.
I have a question for you two. I have a question for you two. How is your relationship with your parents, and are they still alive?
My parents gave me up to be squired because I was like one of many sons in their very poor family, and so a passing adventure comes through looking for an able-bodied young lad, and I was kind of adopted by them almost, and they're dead. So you could say I still have parents, kind of don't know who they were. They didn't leave any forwarding addresses. So
how do you feel about this adventure you squired for?
I really liked. Got on. We were good friends. It was I think quite a nice relationship. Like he'd almost. It was like the feeling that he'd enriched my life because he'd taken me away from squalor into a life of adventuring, And I bought into that upbringing, and I enjoyed going on the adventures and the journeys and making camp and stuff. And it was a really traumatic time when that horrible thing happened. But Pudu has made his own way, and he's kind of taken the skills that he learned, which he did learn a lot. This person put a lot of effort in. He didn't just treat him like a stable boy to just boss around. He was training him to be his surrogate son almost. So yeah.
Do you have a name for them?
No.
Can I give them a name?
Yes, for sure.
90.
How did we end up adventuring together? Me and Ephraim and Pudu. That's a good question.
Assigned by the overseer.
Yeah, probably a thing that Pudu was a wanderer for a long time, trying to work out it, and we complement each other really well. So it was kind of like we fell into this thing together. But this most recent, we probably mainly got together for this most recent task. So we've only really known each other for this couple of years, and it is that that overseer. What was their name? Zaru. Who kind of paired us up. But
yes,
it does seem to have worked. We've probably followed
like in school.
Yeah, we've probably followed.
Your adventurer's name was Flint.
Yeah, exactly, Flint.
Flint Steel.
And Flint. Okay, so as you're journeying through this rocky kind of what did I describe it as? Rocky outcrop. So, yeah, so as you're going through the forest, it kind of again seems to open up. The red mist is now long behind you, by the way.
Okay.
And things are much darker here, much redder. And you come to this area which is sort of, there's a rocky, outcrop. But it's kind of almost in like a circular pattern, but you have to climb over it in order to do it. Now, because you're on strong hit,
hard rock or soft rock? Is it sort of what sort of?
It's hard.
It's hard rock. Okay, so sort of
It's almost like it's been placed, but you're able to climb over. I'm not going to make you roll for it because of your strong hit. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nice.
And the opportunity revealing the nature. It's not going to reveal history, but it's going to reveal the nature of the place, specifically to you, Scruffy. In that one of the many floating orbs that comes across stops in front of you. And you feel the presence of Flint in front of you.
No way.
You feel, you can't explain why, but you're certain. How does it sort of convince itself of its presence to you?
Maybe I guess you get that sort of nostalgic feeling, right? That sort of almost I want to say vertigo, but not quite vertigo. That sort of feeling of recognition that you've been there before. Maybe it's like that feeling you get when you smell a smell that I know that smell from somewhere. You can't quite place it, but it's not a smell. It's just a vibe, right? It's just the feeling of home almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really hard to explain a feeling like that because I don't know if we have the word for it, but I think that's all it is. I think that's literally all it is.
And what do you do?
I don't know why, but for Pudu specifically, it takes him back to a morning where he's putting away the camps and putting away the tents, which is a job he was really proud of because it's the first time he ever really got praise from Flint for doing something really quickly and really well, and surprised Flint how well he did it, as a young kid. Those moments really are strong and stand out for you. And I think he's just immediately transported back to that campsite in that moment, the smell of the breakfast, the feeling of warmth and recognition and belonging. And then they moved on to their next adventure, and that day just comes back to him vividly in a flash.
And as that flash appears, when you take a second look at the orb, you can see the bone structure. You can see his face coming through as light. Kendall, can your character see any of this, just out of interest?
None of the sort of back, like the swirly lights for sure. Yeah, those are there.
Yeah.
But none of the sort of context or background. It's just swirly lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you notice the definition of the face that Scruffy is seeing?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I
No.
didn't think so. How are you going to respond to this, Scruffy?
I think just wide-eyed rapture, and he'd just say, "Gods, is that you, sir? Flint, sir?"
And Flint can't respond, but does stay next to you, whereas the others are floating aimlessly. It's something about you is drawing it to you. It remembers something in the same way that those angry spirits remember their feelings of resentment and anger. Now that you're here, it can remember feelings of happiness and love, and it's staying put. It might even follow you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll call over to you, Ephraim. Ephraim, how can you explain this, Ephraim? I see. It's Flint. It's my. Can you not see?
I think it's more of a sort of an igneous rock. I think maybe granite or
I think it takes
something.
It takes Pudu a moment, and he
basalt. I didn't know you were a geologist.
Just don't tease me. I see my former mentor, my father, Flint, is there in front of me, as clear as I see you. Come, can't you see?
I see one of the many dancing lights that inhabits this place. If you wish to call it Flint, then you may do so. I don't see how it could be any different from you naming a cat.
God, you know nothing about these things, Ephraim. You don't even see what's in front of your eyes. We should make haste. But I wonder, I think this might be the answer I've been looking for.
Excellent. Let's keep moving. What do we encounter next? We encounter dense thicket. That makes a lot of sense. I think your pathway is going to be a little bit obscured by this red weed that you're going through. And someone give me a Delve the Depths. Make haste about it. Not literally.
I think Pudu's got this one. I think he's
going to stride forward with a lot of confidence now, and I think it's going to be, disregarding what you said earlier, he's going to move quickly. Like, I think maybe the orb's kind of almost leading him. It's kind of there with him, but he sees it as leading him because every time he steps forward, it stays in front of him. So he sees it as leading him, even though it's probably just following him. You know, but I think he's going to kind of move forward quite quickly, like see what's coming next. Maybe he's got fanciful ideas of being able to see Flint again, and I think he's moving at quite a pace at this point. So we'll roll for.
I had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah. Roll with edge, no modifier, and we get a strong hit. Rolled an 8 on a 6 more. You can see the 8 there. That's got to be a 6 he's rolled. Yeah. So he rolled a 6. He's gunning for this. Like, he's going hell for leather. I imagine it's almost difficult to keep up with him. But we mark progress and find an opportunity. Would you like me to reveal the opportunity, Nom?
I think what I'm going to do, instead of revealing opportunity, I'm actually going to mark progress twice.
Sweet. Because we go so fast.
Because you're moving
past places. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the options when you get a weak hit on rolling with edge. One of the options is you mark progress twice.
Makes sense.
And it's most likely on that outcome. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take that, what the mechanics are suggesting there, and run with that a little bit, if that's okay with you two.
That's absolutely fine.
I feel like with 3 strong hits in a row, is it perhaps time? I mean, I know we've not made, we're only 6 boxes in, but
we could attempt to reach destination for sure.
With 3 strong hits in a row, I feel like locating the objective seems like the logical thing to roll for now.
Excellent. I'm going to resolve this current outcome of this dense thicket red weed.
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, I thought. Yeah.
I'm going to because you've been going through it at such a pace. So you were slashing through and made haste, and this has actually created what you don't understand yet, but will come to know, quite the shortcut for yourself. Going around it was definitely the wrong outcome. And going through it this quickly has really sped up your journey, which is why we're going to mark progress twice. And all the time you were doing this, Flint has been sort of over your shoulder, following, almost glued to you.
I imagine the feelings of home have kind of lingered, and memories have come back into my mind. Would it be?
I think
would it be meta to take a spirit at this point?
Yeah, I was going to say. I think you can heal up one spirit.
Yeah, it feels like the sort of thing that would happen here. Like he would be heartened by all this.
Yeah. A heartened move would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll have to port that over from Starforge, just one for one.
So yeah, let's do a locate your objective roll then. This is a progress roll.
Okay.
Would you like to make it, Kendall, or should I?
Go on then. I'll do it.
Go ahead.
So field progress is 6.
So this is just the 2d10s again. So no d6 has been rolled. Hey, what a roll!
What did you get?
Strong hit.
On a strong hit, you locate your objective, and the situation favours you. Choose one. Make another move now and add +1, or take +1 momentum.
Whilst you're deciding that, I'm just going to quickly take a bio break. I'll be 2 seconds, guys.
Yeah.
I'm trapped.
But whilst that's happening, I'm just going to explain. I don't want to explain the exposition because Scruffy's not here yet. So.
Yeah.
But you definitely arrived at your objective, which is the stone tablet.
Place, yeah, where we're supposed to try and summon the castle.
Yes.
I'm not sure if there's a move that we should be making.
Yeah, I think the momentum.
I think it might just be momentum. Yeah, unless maybe.
You've both been rolling so well.
Yes. Maybe.
I made a really nasty Denizen Matrix. I thought you were gonna die.
Well, there's still time.
There's still time. Yes. I have something set up for the castle as well.
There is still time. There is still time. It's just my little song. I'm sad that I haven't been able to improvise loads of weird little stories. I only managed one so far.
So far, there's still time.
There is still time.
How's everyone else doing on the stream? Keeping up with the story?
What's up?
Oh, thanks, Dollar1. Awesome story so far. Well, this is what I really like about Ironsworn, is the kind of, low prep, the fact that we can just go, what are you going to encounter next? Let's roll and find out. And that can just be the story, just going through encounter to encounter to encounter. And you guys and your awesome role-playing make it a coherent story,
Oh, well, I'm glad you're enjoying my...
Tigmic, lots of inspiration for my own games. Yeah, it's weird that when I sort of came up with the idea and started running with it, I thought this isn't really the Ironlands that I'm describing here, and I actually was a little bit worried that Scruffy and Kendall might be like, this isn't the Ironlands. This isn't what we agreed to play.
I've never played Ironsworn before, so...
Yeah.
Can we get a quick recap for anyone who's joined sort of halfway through? It's a really nice point to do that, and Rock'em is asking for one.
Yeah,
Story so far.
The tale so far.
So the tale so far. So the Scruffy, what was the goal? The initial goal that you took on?
Oh, we're trying to find a gate, a sort of gateway between the living and the dead, and open it so that the restless souls of the living can return to the dead. That is what an overseer has sent us to, a sort of religious overseer, is that right? Or some sort of...
Yeah.
And we have spent several years trying to get there. This is all preamble before the session today. Several years trying to locate the gate, and we finally got a hot lead. which is the place we were approaching at the start of the session today.
Yeah, so the session started at the red misted entrance of this enchanted forest that has been foretold in many, many stories aeons ago. And they've walked into here, they've encountered unfriendly and friendly creatures. They had an initial fight with a sodden monster, which was a restless creature of a drowned Ironlander. They had an encounter with...
Killing that, by the way, was really traumatic for my character because he got a flashback into her life as a human and a tragic backstory there and felt really bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Following that, they bumped into a character called Serene. Serene was claimed to be older than the Ironlands.
It was a horrible
And Serene...
little gnome.
A very wise old man.
Serene split opinions, but gave them tips on how to find the gate, which is the Castle Farina. Castle Farina is now what you guys are about to encounter. But yeah, that's the kind of story so far. Obviously, they then had the
spider. We were walking through
bumped into the spider,
spooky forest.
Bumped into the spirit of Scruffy's mentor, and yeah, excellent. I've managed to avoid the Forest Guardian so far.
Yeah, and for anyone else who didn't catch the intro, one of my character's assets is that he hears voices in his head, which has happened from his tragic backstory, and that we call that the Twitch, which is you guys feel free to make any suggestions of some of the things the voices are saying or suggesting for him to do in whatever way you like, and if I follow that, I get some pluses to my rolls. So we've had some interesting moments from that before. And I think a few of the voices are telling me not to trust Ethereum. So
pretty much 90% of them have been saying not to trust my character.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys arrive at the foot of a hill. You steadily climb the hill. And as you look out at the top, we're now back in the game, by the way. Sorry, that was poor. Yeah,
I'm on a hill now. Go ahead.
And essentially, yeah, at the top of the hill, you look out, and where in the Ironlands, when you climb a hill, you can see for miles. This seems really unnaturally dark, but not dark as in void of light, but dark as in things fade into the background in the way that a camera of shallow depth of field fades out.
Right.
Or in a way that I perceive things when I take off my glasses.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And upon the horizon, you can't see much, but there are creatures flying in the air. You haven't noticed that before. You've been covered by trees. And there appears to be a castle impossibly far ahead, and you hope that isn't Castle Farina. But upon the top of the hill, as Serene promised, is a stone tablet to summon this castle, and whatever that means.
Short-sightedness.
And cure the short-sightedness, yeah. Curse the short-sightedness, yep. Rock and sock'em, that's exactly what's happened.
So when you say flying creatures, are you talking birds, or are you talking...
Burbs.
Burbs. Cool.
Burbs.
Birds. I like birds.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going for.
Are there any more sort of wispy spirits around here, or has it all gone a bit...
You can see them all floating beneath you in the forest still, lighting up the forest. And...
Okay.
Occasionally illuminating a taller dark tree here, a rocky mound there, but then going back into blackness as they go back under the canopy. Canopy?
Canopy, yeah. And there's some vol au vents.
You've been cast to short-sightedness. I can't get over that. As I was saying it, I was like, wow, that's such a cool thing to say. Oh, wait, I'm just describing short-sightedness.
No, I kind of see it as a bit different to that, because in short-sightedness, it doesn't go black, it goes fuzzy, doesn't it? You know, like when it goes black, it's kind of very supernatural, isn't it? It's kind of dreamlike when you're having a dream and you can't quite see in the distance. It's like your eyes are closing, they keep closing because your eyes are closed.
That's exactly what I was going for, Scruffy. Well done.
Yeah, it's very dreamlike. Almost.
Thanks for interpreting my ramblings.
Oh, always. Same
almost like this isn't the physical reality of the Ironlands. Perhaps.
Almost.
I don't know. Imagine that.
Well, so I've still got the spirit at my shoulder, yeah? Like he's coming with, or is he falling back into the forest?
No, they're still with you.
Cool.
Right.
They're going to be with you until they have a reason to go away.
So, do we need to roll to locate our objective here, or have we already done that? I've forgotten.
You already have.
Well, there's the stone.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the
Excellent.
stone tablet, isn't there?
And because you rolled a strong hit, it's not going to be like a test or anything. I didn't have a test or anything planned, or a riddle, or anything for you to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Castle Farina only appears for those who seek it. And because you rolled a strong hit and locating your objective, that is exactly what happens.
Wow.
The castle you see in the background starts to move. And as it starts to move, you see a murder of crows fly out of its windows.
When you say move, do you mean like it stands up and moves like Howl's Moving Castle, or do you mean it sort of...
It stands up and moves.
Oh my god. Away from us or towards us?
Towards you.
Oh my gosh.
And the way this looks is it's like a colossal, and it has arms and legs and a body, and its head is like a rook, and its shoulders are like rooks, and its hands are like rooks as well. And it's just kind of lazily slumping towards you. And as it gets close, it sort of sets itself
By the gods.
a few feet in front of the hill, and it lays its head down with the rook poking up, and it sort of moves its hands into a position, and it forms the Castle Farina in front of you, and suddenly opens its mouth. Well, no, it opens its mouth and lets out what you perceive to be an ancient yawn, and its mouth opens as a door on a way inside.
I'm just stunned. I think Voodoo just will be calling to the gods, all the gods he knows. He'll be just arms limp at his side, you know, like, well, I have never... Ephraim, what do you... How do you explain this?
Well, there's an old story about the castles of the fairy folk. And the castles of the fairy folk did not follow the rules of our world. They were animated by magic, and the important thing to remember when dealing with the castles of the fairy folk is that nothing is ever as it seems. For example, the entrance, a mouth. Perhaps we should find a different way in.
Rock'em Sock'em says crossover episode Ironsworn Roomlands. Yeah, I got a lot of inspiration from Colossal with regards to Castle Farina, for sure. It's good to play more RPGs.
I hear your counsel, Ephraim, but remember what Serenity said. We were here to seek the castle, and it appeared as he said. How do you explain the wondrousness of this sight? I think we should stride forward boldly and embrace our destiny.
Excellent.
Well, for those who do not remember the details, such as, for example, the foul creature's name, perhaps doom comes to you swiftly. I would recommend we find a different entrance.
I think Pudu takes a long time thinking it over, and he nods and he says, "You've never led me wrong before, Ephraim. I will trust your counsel on this, and we shall find another way in.
Another way into the castle, though.
But no, I think we are on the right path, and I think this place can be trusted. I think we are at the foot of what we have been seeking these long years.
And just mechanically, once you do get inside, we'll obviously roleplay that a little bit and try and find another way around. Once you do get inside, we're going to move to a ancient underkeep delve. We're going to make it troublesome because we're approaching the end of the session. Okay. Well, once you do complete that, spoiler, that will be the end of the session. Okay.
I feel like there's a moment as well. Pudu stops and he holds his hand up. But one thing that you haven't explained is Flint at my shoulder, Ethram. He led us here. I think he means for us to go inside. I know it's not in the books. It's not written down. There are no stories of this moment. But I feel we can trust it. I feel at home with this spirit at my shoulder. Will you allow me to at least try the entrance?
You have always been free to do whatever you wish to do. I have never compelled you or forced you or twisted your arm. However, you will regret not taking my counsel, and I shall not follow.
Oof.
Oh, that's a horrible moment for Pudu. Oh my god. Okay. Here's what we'll do then, Ethram. I will sit here. I will seat myself by the entrance. You may scout for another way in, and if you find it, I will follow you. But if not, we enter together.
Perfect. Give me a gather info roll, Kendall.
Right, let's gather that info.
Do we have a deal?
Unfortunately.
I don't think he says that. I think he knows you're not going to commit to anything. He's just going to walk straight up there and he'll just plant by the thing. I think he expects you to be foiled at this point by the castle.
There's gather info.
I think Pudu's feeling a little bit smug.
Yeah.
Or is he hoping to? It's very
I
rare.
just love both your characters so much.
Yeah, for sure.
That is eines weakest
Oh,
hitters.
look at that. So the challenge guys here have come up with a 9 and an 8, which is like really hard. But somehow you've managed to get a 9, which is like your character put in the effort here.
It's in the stories, isn't it?
You put in the work. And yeah.
In the stories of the fairy folk and all that.
Yeah, I think this is right up your field of expertise. I forgot to ask, what do you specialise in with your science, with your knowledge? Is it
Just stuff.
stuff? History?
It's book, innit? Things.
Obscure lore sort of things, yeah?
Biology, flowers, plants.
Right, what do you get on a weak hit on gather info?
Yes, weak hit. You get information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. But you get +1 momentum.
Okay, excellent. Tell me the alternative entrance that you found then, and I'll tell you the complication.
Yes. So it's fairly difficult to find. It's essentially, I think, an illusory wall. So I think there's almost like an error. You know, like if you're in a video game, sometimes there's a seam where two sort of polygons join up.
I like that Norm's just completely lost at this point. Like
Norm's
video game.
Yeah, Norm doesn't play. Sorry.
You know, when you're in a video game, I'm like,
well, I don't know what colossals are, so we're even. But yeah, no, in a video game, sometimes you get it where there's like the geometry doesn't completely marry up, and there's like a tiny seam. and you can see through it. I think there's like one of them, sort of along the.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Along one of the walls, and it's on attempting to touch it, the hand just goes right through.
That is so perfect, because the way that this castle works is, although you see it as a castle that you can explore, when you go inside, it will go down deep, and you don't quite understand, because what was there before was a hill. So what is keeping it there is this sort of like illusionary magic, and that you found a kind of gap in that. That makes entirely perfect sense.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm definitely happy for that. Excellent. Yeah. So Scruffy, you going to follow?
Well, what's the complication?
Oh, the complication's what's on the other side.
Okay. So I assume you're calling over to show me then.
Yes.
So
Come here, you brute. No, I don't think I say that. Poodoo.
Yes,
Found
Ephraim,
us.
come to return to the front door and walk through like civilized people, I assume.
I have found us an alternative entrance.
I think he looks a bit crestfallen at this point, but he's a man of his word. So he nods and says, "Aye, okay."
Okay. As you get through, you encounter a long tunnel, which is really circular. And almost like the floor is pretty much circular as well. There's almost no gap between where the walls meet the floor, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very little actual walkway, and it's completely dark on the inside.
Gosh.
Okay.
Do you have anything to light it up?
Well, I think.
Do you want to check your gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think we could check the old gear, can we?
Yep.
Should we both roll or?
Yeah, can do. Having 2 torches or whatever would be more useful than only one.
I can't see it. What's it under?
It's under the delve
cool
moves.
Story we're crafting all together.
Yeah, me too.
Having a really good time.
You just roll supply.
You guys' supplies haven't taken any hits.
No.
I'm not seeing the roll button on that.
It doesn't look like there is a roll button on it. Just if you just click the supply thing at the top of your character sheet, it'll roll for you.
Oh, look at that. Hey, strong hit. Wow, I got a 10.
Wow, strong hit. And Kendall?
Yeah, also a strong hit.
So that gives Poodoo an extra momentum.
What do you use to light your way? What do you find in your gear?
I imagine it's pretty basic spelunking stuff, maybe even a lantern, would you say, or just a torch?
Yeah, I was about to say a lantern.
I imagine we've picked up specifically pretty high quality gear for this. Like on our journeys, we would have picked it up at a place like that. Will come in really handy if we have to go somewhere dark. Let's get it.
Yeah, I think a lantern. Fun.
So sort of really nice wrought iron, well made lanterns each, and we've each got one.
Given the strong hit, I've even got like a special hook on my belt that I can hang the lantern on, so both hands are free.
I imagine both of us like matching. We were there at the same store,
the same lantern shop.
Yeah, we got buy one get one free. We got a good deal on it. Maybe I was paying for one and you kind of hopped on my order. Who knows?
I think that's perfect. Okay, and Flint's also providing a little bit extra light as well.
Of course.
Excellent. So I'm going to roll for your inside. So let's start the delve. Let's see what you encounter. So the first thing you're going to encounter is a shrine or a temple, and who's going to lead the way? And this is only troublesome, so this should be quite a short delve, and we are, as I said, approaching the end of the story. Hopefully, be wrapped up in the next kind of half hour or so if we get a wiggle on.
Okay, I imagine that Poodoo will be actively trying to go first. Poodoo will be very keen to lead the way here.
Yes,
he wants to see what's happening. Whereas I think you're being a bit more cautious. So I'm gonna dive forward and move with haste.
Nice.
So I'll delve the depths, moving with haste, Rolling it now, unless anyone's got any objections.
9.
Did you miss?
Yes, a miss and a match.
Perfect. Perfect.
Oops. I think he was a bit overeager, guys.
It's serene.
This is
Oh my
perfect.
God.
This is actually perfect.
For anyone who doesn't know, the worst you can get in Ironsworn, it's like a critical miss. Basically, is an even miss. Two matching numbers on your d10s, and you missed.
Okay. You guys are about to meet another guardian.
Okay.
So, okay. So you as you approach this, you come out of this long tunnel. You see that there are many other tunnels connected similarly to this large room that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And this large room is mostly empty except for a small shrine sitting at the top by a few doorways. Now, you also notice a very, very large snake skin that's been shedded. Okay.
Thinking nothing of it, just blow past that.
Excellent. What I'd like you to do is, as that's happening, you hear a hissing sound coming from one of the tunnels, and I'd like for you to enter the fray.
Yeah.
And you're going to be fighting against a basilisk.
So, is this another ambush?
Well, it would appear to be that way, wouldn't it? But you kind of have the jump on it as well, because you've noticed the skin, you've noticed the sound of it coming.
Well, okay. I feel like, due to my character's thing, I'm going to roll heart here, if that's all right, because I feel like I'm, facing off against this thing. Like, I'm not backing down. Like, I am headstrong where I am. So I'm going to roll heart, not wits for ambush. I don't think that's particularly meta.
I'll go shadow if it seems like.
If you're hiding in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
What do I get? I got a miss, but I could always burn it. I think I'll take the miss for now. Save my momentum.
I got a weakest hitters.
So because I wasn't ready for trouble, like I was expecting to meet my destiny, I've sort of strided forward, but I am having to fumble for my weapons. Like, it's not the same slick muscle memory you saw earlier from Poodoo. He's kind of walked up boldly, and only at the last moment, when he can properly see it in the lamplight, even ignored the hissing, only then is he kind of, oh shit, it's a baddie, and reaching for his weapons. So, erstwhile.
Yes.
Perfect. So, but do you have initiative?
No, I have not. That's what's happened from my perspective. Okay. I have not got the initiative, so it's over to you.
I'm taking initiative with my weak hit. I'm
Excellent.
Taking initiative.
This snake, enormous snake, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for shorthand. Okay, that kind of basilisk.
Gosh.
Appears out. His head emerges out of the tunnel and looks directly at you, and it is an extreme foe, by the way.
Yeah, I've just noticed that.
Okay. Yes, right. Extreme foe.
for the thumbnail, guys.
So this is like the big bad, right? You're nearly there. This is like the big bad.
Yes. So,
although there are two big bads in this game, you just bypass one of them.
So Ethrim's gonna draw the dagger, raise it up so the light glints off it, and then throw it to the ground.
Okay.
And it clatters on the stone floor, and gonna say, "Guardian of this place, know that we are favoured by the other guardians, by Arison, by Serene. We have been protected. Do not take action against us, for we are allowed to be here under their protection."
I don't even know if there's a possibility that you can reason with it, right?
Wow.
Right.
Is that an oracle roll?
I might put it as an oracle roll, but that does feel really harsh.
No, it makes sense. It's like a fortune roll in Blades. It's an oracle roll, isn't it? You know.
I'm going to make it a 50-50 to be kind.
Ooh.
Gosh. So this is to determine whether the snake is able to be spoken to or reasoned with, if it understands human tongue.
I rolled a 98, so you definitely can reason with it.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
more
So
intelligent
I'd like
than
to-
you knew, Norm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like you to roll me a compel.
Do you think this is a compel?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
trying to
'Cause I
compel
thought
it
might
to
be a
not
face
attack you.
danger, But
Yeah, you're
yeah.
definitely compelling
I
it to
suppose
not
compel.
attack.
I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it?
You're rolling shadow, though, because you're lying.
I'm rolling in shadow, and I'm also getting +1 because I'm lying because of my trickster.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Oh, this is exciting.
I
Let's
feel
see what
like
happens.
just by the way, this is making my character even less reluctant, even less initiative because he's stopped reaching for his sword at this point. He's probably instead his hands are probably going towards his trinkets.
Oh, only
If this
a
doesn't
strong
work,
hit.
by the way, you could be dead.
No, it was a strong hit. So,
It was a strong hit.
yep, strong hit.
Okay. I'm not going to compel a strong hit.
Sorry, you just sounded so resigned there, like.
Well, mechanically speaking, if you wanna hash this out and you don't want it to be that it's immediately all over, this could be that it doesn't attack us yet, and it has like a few ticks on progress, just the same as if you were to strike it or whatever, because you're convincing it, right?
We could do that.
You're breaking its resolve.
Yeah. That's definitely not the mechanics as intended, but I feel like that would be appropriate in this situation.
Well, I mean, it is the mechanics as intended because you are able to use these progress boxes for things other than just fighting. I feel like these progress boxes are deliberately vague in this sense. In fact, in Starforge, they move it from ending the fight by killing things or whatever to being you secure your objective, right? And the objective is just different in this case, or it might end differently. It kind of gives it more scope and more flexibility. At least that's how I play the game.
Okay, I'm gonna say this then. That happens. So the basilisk stops for a moment, and it makes dead eyes with yourself, Kendall.
Nice.
And it kind of looks as if it's mulling this over. And I'm gonna mark progress as if you did it with a deadly weapon. So it's filled in one whole box.
Ooh, very nice.
One whole box. Oof.
So because that was a strong hit, you
Rock'em Sock'em,
you still have the
exactly.
initiative, right?
Yep.
You
You could roll to end the fight.
you could.
I mean, with the luck I've been having so far, I feel like I might double ones.
Actually, doesn't it have to be over the number as well? Like you can still fail on 2 10s even if you've got all 10 boxes. I can't remember.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
so
I think you need
actually
more than one box.
Yeah, you actually
Can't end the fight. Yeah.
But because of your strong hit, you do get to take +1 momentum, and
Yes.
if you try and gather information, you can add +1 to that roll.
Yes, which.
But that wouldn't matter progress.
Is that the next thing you want to do, Kendall? Do you want to ask it for directions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So in this room, we're in this location. Is there a clear exit? Like, is there a clear?
There are doors by the temple, by the
Right. How many
shrine.
doors?
There are 3.
Okay, 2 of them have goats behind them, and 1 has a car. Right? I've been here before. I know this.
Just on these mechanics and these progress books, I've used them for running away from a thing before as well. Like you try and run away, and you roll, and you try and fill in boxes for running
Yes.
away.
Well,
It's the same thing.
I think you might. I think you might see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I'm preempting you a little bit, foreshadowing you there.
So there's 3 doors.
Mhm.
They identical doors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an old saying in the Ironlands. There's an old saying, and it's the sinister left will only lead to death. But, as we've established previously, the castles of the fairy folk, things work differently. So the sinister left will lead to death does not apply left door.
I like that your characters become all superstitious all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I want to run straight through the left door. Just run past this basilisk.
Give me a face danger.
And that's got to be
That's got to be using edge.
got to be edge, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, weak hit.
Excellent. And on a weak hit, you succeed but face a troublesome cost. Okay. You're hurt. I feel like they're all quite weak. If I'm
You
honest.
could have you put an ally in danger. That's one on the staff.
I would say this. I did throw my Etherim did throw the dagger on the floor. That's losing supplies.
Yeah, minus supply. Yep, I think that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, we lose some
Yeah,
supplies.
you've lost one of your weapons.
Yeah.
What's edge? Double one edge was the stat we used to do the face danger roll to run away.
It's how fast you are.
Yeah. Which Etherim is not.
Okay, so this door is open. Scruffy, I'm going to give you a window of opportunity to also get out if you want to face danger as well.
What's the snake literally doing right now? Is it went and lunged at?
It's now watching you both because it's still like Kendall has initiative, right? So it's still perplexed.
I imagine that this is exactly what Poodoo will do. He will nod to the snake and say, "Thank you, O wise guardian, O great and magnificent guardian," and then he will slowly walk towards the door that Kendall just ran through.
Yeah, there is a chance you're going to die.
Uh-huh.
Give me a face.
Yeah.
Give me a face danger.
But I say slowly, not super slow. Like he'll be fairly briskly, but not like running. I think he thought that Kendall overreacted with Etherim overreacted with that running. Like the snake's clearly on our side. So face danger. I would say I'm doing it with charm, loyalty, and courage.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
fair.
pretty charming that I just said thank you like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair in this context.
Okay, facing danger. Wish me luck, guys. No voices to help me on this one. Weak hit. So you succeed, but face a troublesome cost.
Okay, it's definitely going to lunge at you.
Okay.
And I know it says only one harm on here, but it is an extreme foe. I would like you to endure harm.
Okay.
If that sounds harsh, I do apologise, but you did roll a miss with a match to reveal that guardian. They are an extreme foe, and if it does bite you, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, it was. I didn't expect it to lunge at me as well, so that's
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
it's kind of the
Are
way.
we
it's
marking
kind of
any progress for having got in through the doors at this point? By the way.
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
But because it's only troublesome, as soon as you start marking progress, it will really tick up.
No, I mean on the basilisk.
Oh no.
Is the rest of this just going to be running away from
getting
the
away from it?
basilisk?
Was all.
Apparently.
So how much harm am I losing? Sorry, 2, 3.
No, it's an extreme foe, so 4.
Whoa. Okay. So could you describe what it does to me?
Of course. So as you're running away, it lunges towards you with lightning reflexes. It sinks its teeth into your back, but the momentum pushes you through the door, which Kendall slams behind. And you hear the snake let out a hiss in rage, and you hear it slink away through one of the tunnels. You hope it's not going to meet you where you're going.
So
You're also, part of you's concerned that there may be venom, but you're not sure at this moment in time.
So I took a -1 momentum as well because I missed the endure harm roll.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, excellent. What are you guys going to encounter next? Let's find out. 55. A hall or a chamber. Perfect. So behind this door is taking you to a long hall with only one way through, a tunneled sort of stone door on the other side. And you've got to get from one end to the other. Let's see who's rolling for Delve the Depths.
I'm imagining I'm hobbling behind here, Kendall, so I think it's
Yeah.
Sure.
Ethereum leading the way. You were running quite
yeah.
fast.
I think the running stopped through as soon as the door was closed, though. I think it's going to be as stealthy as possible of an approach. I think nice and cautious.
I do feel like you're right, Rock'em Sock'em. It's just gone off to do snaky things. It's just like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Too confusing. I'm off to be snaky.
Off to be snaky. Right, so that is what we call a
Weak hit.
weak hit
Excellent. So you might. Oh, I've got to roll the dice.
for Shadow. Yeah.
27.
So that would mean.
Mark progress and reveal a danger. Okay. Let's mark some progress. And we're going to reveal some dangers.
We should probably get rid of some of these arrow spiders and stuff. I don't know how you do that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Oh, it rolls automatically for you when you try and.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to roll on my denizen matrix because none of these are nice things. 16. Excellent. So you get from one end to the other without too much hassle, but you are sort of, as you're getting close to the end, you notice that there's a small sort of gathering of rats, and most of them clear, but one of them hisses at you and sort of leaps towards you in
yes.
combat. These are deep rats, so they are pretty big. They come up to like your thigh. They are only troublesome, however.
Ooh, friends.
And it's just one. I create a progress bar for it.
Done so?
You done it already?
Yep. Top one.
Oh yeah.
Well done. Excellent. Give me some Enter the Fray. Lots of combat now.
Where's Enter the Fray? It's under some. Oh, there it is.
$1 says, "Psst, hit the rat," with a bunch of asterisks before the rat. Don't know what they're.
Thanks.
Trying to say
Yes,
there.
I feel like my character does want to take out his frustration on the rats, so it's nice to have the voices in agreement there. And he's got a strong hit on his Enter the Fray.
This will just be a heart, won't it?
Yeah, I rolled heart.
Yeah, let's go heart. Weak hit here.
Weak hit, perfect. What are you going to do with that weak hit?
I'm gonna just take the momentum.
Yeah, let Scruffy take this.
I'll take the
Scruffy,
initiative
go.
then.
Yeah, go ahead. How are you?
Oh, I
handling
get
the
both,
combat?
don't I? So 2 momentum and initiative. Yeah, so I'm gonna hit the rat. I'm gonna like he's in line with the voices. His back's still sore from that basilisk. He's almost kicking the cat, kicking down. It's not a pleasant thing. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. He just wants to attack the rat. I think he does just see this as just a rat, not like an important creature. He's in a bit of magical thinking mindset at the moment, but that hurt. So maybe he's thinking it's a test of strength. So strike, found it. Took me a while. Just gonna hit that rat with my sword. Maybe just bash it with my shield. Weak hit. You inflict your harm but lose initiative. So I'm imagining that I just approach the rat and I do just, as it's coming to me, try and sort of smash it with my shield, which is a weapon. So that's troublesome. So 6 boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So as you do that, you notice that it's actually a little bit stronger than you thought, or perhaps you're weaker than you thought you were following Basilisk. So you've hit it, and it's clearly injured. But as you've hit it, it's also lunged towards yourself, and I'd like you to roll Clash.
Okie dokie.
It's attacking you.
It's trying to clash with me. I'm assuming iron. I don't think it will be using a ranged attack on me. That's a miss.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
Talk me through what it says.
You are outmatched and must pay the price. Your foe has initiative. I can't even burn momentum for that one. It's a 9 and a 10. It's a vicious
I'm going to roll on the pay the price. it would make sense that actually it just makes sense that it hits you.
Okay.
Troublesome is only 1 harm, so
Still takes
isn't
you
it?
down to 0 health.
But you can draw. You do draw harm moves, so you might get lucky.
Or I might get really unlucky.
Well, this is as good a time as any to use that momentum if you can.
I wish I could. in the endure.
in the
yeah.
endure harm, yeah.
I'm fine. I got an opportunity strong hit. So that's shake it off. You may exchange -1 momentum for 1 health, which I'll do. Oh, it's if it's greater than 0. Sorry, no. If your health is greater than 0, you can do that. But if it's not, it's 0. So I actually can't do that. And instead, I have to take +1 momentum.
Okay. Excellent. But because you got a strong hit in the clash, you retain initiative.
Yeah, and it was an opportunity. So can I assume that I'm able to deal harm to it just as a kind of retaliation here?
Oh, go on then, as you asked so nicely. Would you like to roll to end the fight?
Yeah, let's try and squash it.
Go ahead.
That's my good vegan side coming out. Actually, I feel like at this point, is it looking like it's trying to scamper away, or is it coming in hot?
It's coming in hot.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and squash it. I was going to let it run away, because that's what...
Because of the conversation you had earlier.
Exactly.
Character development.
Easy, strong hit on the final thrust down with my shield. I think maybe a decapitation's in order here.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk me through that.
So I think it's like, as it came in to bite, maybe it leapt at me and started biting at my my shoulders and chest. It managed to do a little bit of a nibble, but I sort of flung it off and it hit the wall. It rebounded. I did that little moment of, is it going to back off? Am I going to let it go away? And it started running back at me again, so I just chunk the shield down and take off its head in one clean sort of brutal motion. And as it's kind of bleeding out on the floor there, I think I'll turn to Ephraim and say, sometimes you can't be merciful. Sometimes the brutal way is the only way. I feel like he's learning lessons today.
Excellent. As you enter this door, you come down to a stairwell. The stairwell, as you make your way down it, leads to a carved passageway. This carved passageway is a long hall, and it seems to only go in one direction. But this seems like a different part of the castle. Like it's not clear stone that have been like bricks, if that makes sense. It hasn't been like it's been carved rather than built, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just as dark down here, so it's definitely lantern time again, which I know you guys have. Who's leading the way through the carved passageways?
Well, I think the first thing is that we need to see if we've got bandages or something for that basilisk bite.
Yeah,
sure.
That's looking nasty.
I'm looking.
So I want to check. I want to check my gear.
Good idea.
I want to check my gear. So I've got that. So I've got some bandages. So I'll take the momentum, but lose a supply, and then try and use those bandages to at least
come
me
here,
roll. You old brute. Let's this is our
Voodoo
character.
is really injured. He's on 0 health. So I think this is a kind of moment of, as he said that, he kind of slumped backwards against the wall, looking very grey, and that's what's inspired Ephraim here to.
So what's interesting about Ironsworn Dollar?
I tried to rush ahead. Sorry.
No, what's interesting about this one, Dollar One, is Poody's health is 0, but you're fine until you specifically fail on the endure harm move.
I'll show you the
when you take damage on 0 health, you just start taking negatives to other things that you can lose.
Yeah, so it's always momentum.
Oh, it's other momentum. Yeah, I thought it might be supply as well, but so you lose momentum and stuff, and that's a downside. But it's only when you specifically fail the endure harm move and you have no health that you might die.
Yeah.
But let's see if we can bandage up.
So that rat knocking me down to 0 health, if I'd missed that endure harm roll, it might have killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have finished me off. We definitely.
Yeah, which
I
in
could
the
have taken a
fiction
wound
wouldn't
or
have been
maimed.
the rat, would it? It would have been the wounds you had
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah, it would have been an accumulation of the wounds I had previously. Oh no! What a roll!
Oh dear. And I've got 8 momentum.
So these are the sort of wounds you can't easily patch up.
Yeah, it's Basilisk's got some nasty venom. Should have.
What did you roll?
You missed.
I got a 9 on the action score, but a 9 and a 10 on the.
You really tried hard. You gave it a good shot.
Wow.
Like your first aid was impeccable.
Do you know what though? I'm a total fool because I literally can add +2 with my herbalist, but it was by said bandages. That's what you got to bandage it up, and you know it's a bandage. Herbal remedies don't work on basilisk bites. Well, maybe they would have worked.
I think what
Didn't think in the
you
moment.
notice. I think you can always, if you want to change that narratively.
Nope.
No, perfect. I think what's happened here, and you correct me if you guys feel differently, but I think what you've noticed is you're patching up the wounds as though it's a bite, but what you're noticing on his skin as you're patching it up is there seems to be, throughout his veins are very visible now, and they're black. They're completely black. And what you can see is you can patch up the wounds, but the real issue here is that there's some kind of venom, and it's not like anything you've seen before, and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And instead of paying the price, we're going to have a further complication that Scruffy's poisoned with whatever this is.
Maybe this was the right time for the herbal remedies.
Are you guys happy with that?
Yeah, for sure.
consequence?
I think Prudu will say, "I thank you for your aid, Ephraim. I feel like we must press on, and ahead we will find the respite I need."
Perfect. Okay, let's go. Who's going through the passageways?
Well, it's gonna be.
I mean, I'm slumping. I'm waddling that way, but I'm not going very fast. You could overtake me if you wanted to.
It's gonna be wits. Like
if you guys succeed, this will take you up to 6. There is a chance that your objective might be at the end of this passageway.
I imagine, if it's not too bold to say, that I would be maybe even being supported as we walk at this point. Like I'm sort of trying to, walk off on my own, but occasionally sort of stumbling. I think, even though your character is a bit of a nasty character to most people, for Pudu, he'd be a shoulder to lean on, right?
Yeah, we can't be stealthy. We can't be fast. It's gotta be wits, hasn't it?
You can't go around it.
Yeah, we're all going on a bear hunt. That's a weak hit for you.
Okay, let's see what that does then. 33 on a weak hit. On Shadow?
On wits.
On wits?
Mark progress and reveal a danger.
Perfect. So let's mark the progress first of all. And I'm going to roll to reveal the danger. 98. Roll twice more on this table.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Okay, perfect. The first one isn't something you're going to encounter immediately, so don't worry. But it's perfect for what could happen later. So I'm just going to bank that one, if you're going to let me.
Of course.
Don't worry, guys. I'm just banking horrific consequences.
28. Check the theme card.
The second one is also not going to happen instantly, please.
This one
just keep
is
them all stored
ancient.
up.
Sorry, check the theme card. On ancient, a 28. Disturbing evidence of ancient wrongs is what you come across as your complication, as your danger, should I say. That is... Hold on. Was that my danger or was that just an aspect? Hold on, let me just double check.
I mean, that
was a danger. That was a danger. So,
spooky.
Yes, as you come through the halls, the carved passageways, Oh gosh, these are both really perfect for what's coming next, actually. But yeah, let me come on to that. As you come through the passageways, you see blood across the walls, and you come across skeletons on either side that have been devoured by what you can only assume is the basilisk. You see more deep rats, couple of gnawing on bones, but they leave you alone entirely, and you press on. That was your. I was been a bit generous there, but we'll see. Keep going.
Give it another roll, Kendall.
So you're at 6. Would you like me to reveal the next place, or do you want to see if you've reached your destination?
Ooh.
Shall we see if we've done it?
Go on then. You can roll this one.
This is locate your objective. This move.
You can roll this one, Scruffy. Come on.
Okay.
I believe in you.
I'll do my best. I can always burn momentum. I've got quite a lot.
You can't. I don't
Oh,
think
you can't progress, can you? That would be awesome.
No.
So 6. Oh, baby! Yeah, we did it.
You're a firework.
So you locate your objective and the situation favours you. I can make another move, not a progress move and add +1, or I can take +1 momentum. Well, I'll have a listen before I choose my mechanical reward. So, situation favours us. What's going on, Nom?
Okay, so first of all, what happens is you enter the room at the end of this passageway, and it's just a small circular room. And there's only one thing inside, which is what appears to be a well. And this, what looks like a well, seems to go on forever. You can't see the bottom at all. Okay? And something is telling you, in fact, you believe it's Flint telling you, Scruffy, that this is the gate that you've been searching for. And you see, next to the gate is...
I feel like as well as Flint, a lot of the voices are getting very animated as well.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Do you remember how to open it? Do you remember what Serene said to you?
No.
Yep.
Go on. Well, I'll let Ethereum explain to Scruffy. Or do you want a quick reminder? Or...
No, I do remember. It was Blood of the Mortal, wasn't it?
Blood of the Mortal.
Blood of the Mortal. The thing, I'm trying to decide though.
Yeah, it's one of the voices. It's what's happening in my head. One of the voices is saying that it's probably healing water, and I think Pudu is inclined to believe it.
Do you remember what the repulsive little creature told us about this gate?
I think Pudu would. Ah, yes. Yes, I remember well. No pun intended. Aye.
Blood of the Mortal.
Well, I have ample supply here. I think I maybe even take my my chainmail off and start taking my shirt off, like my undergarments, because then the blood is seeped through to my clothes. And I'm imagining that as I'm stripping off, my shawl comes off, and I just start casting them into the well.
Excellent. Perfect. I'm not going to have you roll. That was what you were told. You got a strong hit. The situation favours you. Immediately...
I'll take a momentum for the mechanical thing.
Immediately, a stream of light lights up from the well and seems to go off into what you now realise is a tower that you're in. And the tower goes up almost impossibly far. And this light is pouring through with those orbs that you were seeing from outside.
No.
And Flint moves from your shoulder and slowly enters this well. And you know that you've restored the gate. And at that time, appearing as if from nowhere, is somebody who looks just like Serene, but they have a robe on. They're clothed.
Not naked.
They're not naked.
But I am.
And they say,
There can be only one.
and they say, "Thank you, mortals. You have restored the gate. I was trapped on the other side. This is my realm, not the realm of the spirits. It was so long ago. Do not remember how I got there. But I have been stuck. I am the gatekeeper. Thank you. I cannot repay you enough. Do you understand what you have done?"
I think Pudu gives a knowing nod and says, and looks back at where Flint had entered the thing and says, Yes, I know what we have done.
And he says, Ironlander, I see that it come at a cost to yourself. You've seen one of our guardians.
Yes. They saw fit to gift me with their favour. I turn and show my back.
And he says, 'Tis worse than I feared, Ironlander. Come. And he looks at you, Ephraim, but not at Pudu at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Let me take you home. Are you?" And he puts his hand out towards you. Are you going to object at all, Ephraim?
It's a hell of a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Um.
Because I don't think Pudu's objecting at the moment.
That's fine. That's fine. Because Pudu. Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. Ephraim's going to refuse the hand. Ephraim's going to say, made our way here. Can easily make my way back.
Okay. And he says, and I hope you don't mind this, it's a bit railroady, but he says, in fact, actually, if you want to try and make your own way back, that's not a problem. There is an exit, the delve move. Would you like to try it? Escape the depths, it's called.
Escape the depths.
Before you do that, though, I think it's important to see what happens with what he's doing with Pudu. I think
that makes more sense.
Unless you are just going to turn and leave.
Okay.
I think I'd wait for.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd wait for
Okay. So that's fine. He turns to Pudu and he says, "I do not know how much time you have, Pudu." He knows your name. You don't know how. Do not know how much time you have. The venom coursing through your body is not something you've come across before. These guardians are to eliminate this realm of mortals. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
He gives a big sigh and a deep breath and says, I understand. Can nothing be done?
Nothing can be done, but it is not death that awaits you, Ironlander. You will not pass through onto this gate into the next realm. With this venom going through your body, you will be unable to pass through the red mist. You will be here, tending to our forests, our castles. I will do my best to look after you, but this is we must move quickly. Otherwise, the red mist may be impassable for you.
So, I will cease to be immortal, but the voices, will they come with me? Will they stop? Will I be trapped with them for eternity? There's fear in his eyes now. The voices are saying not to trust him.
I do not know, Ironlander. I do not know. All I can do is I can bring the red mist here and he sort of waves as if it, and you can see it coming down the passageway. He says, "Please walk towards it." And I think if you're happy to walk through it, Kendall, I think you'll get through straight away. But I think Scruffy needs to roll me and escape the depths to see
I
if he.
I want to say to Ephraim, we must run. We must escape this place and try and run.
So the red mist. Sorry, just to confirm, when you're inviting Ephraim to walk through the red mist, you're not inviting Ephraim to move over to the left. You're saying to escape, right? And to leave the castle.
I thought he was telling me to
walk into the mist. So the only way out is through this passageway. Kendall, if you walk through it, you're gonna, just spoiler, you're gonna get out to the other side. But Scruffy's gonna have to roll for it.
Oh, okay. So he wants me to get away from here, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought he was trying to keep me here, like he was trying to get me to
he doesn't.
get embraced in the. Okay, yeah. I'll try and get the heck out of there then.
Okay.
Should we go together? I say to Ephraim, let's. Shall we go together, friend?
This is gonna sound really cold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. It seems like you got what you wanted. And then just leave.
Wow.
Wow. Betrayal. Okay. Betrayal at the last moment.
Betrayal at the last.
Okay,
Scruffy, roll to escape the depths.
Should I roll heart? Or iron?
Steel yourself against the horrors of this place is heart.
Yeah.
So I think, yes. Fighting your way out would be iron. I think heart is appropriate.
Okay, I'm going to burn my momentum to get a strong hit. Because otherwise it's a miss.
This wouldn't be the worst end in the world.
So all that momentum I built up from before, like it seems like, I think it's like a moment where it seems like he's going to get lost in the mire, but then he's kind of redoubles and in his darkest moment, like manages to forge ahead and he succeeds for a strong hit. Make your way out of the site.
Perfect. As you make your way out, you find yourself not at the foot of the red mist, nor at the mountains, but you find yourself at the quiet waters of the hinterlands. What you will also come to realise much later on, when you get back to normality, is that decades have passed since you've been in there. Decades and decades have passed. And no one remembers the mission that you were told to go on. You haven't been passed into legend. When you return to Summer Song, the overseer's long been dead, and most of the people that remain there think that you're crazy.
Are the voices still with me?
What do you think?
I think they are.
Then they are.
Well, I marked some progress on that.
And that's it. That's the session, guys.
One of them says maybe. I assume Kendall was nowhere to be seen where I reappeared as well.
Yes.
Ephraim.
No.
Yeah, gone.
That's an interesting tale for the future.
That's not the ending I expected for Pooty.
No, I thought they were going to try and keep me there, like.
I thought he was going to stay there.
I gave you the opportunity. So the way I sort of saw it planning out once I realised what the venom was going to do is, if you stayed there, they would have used the gate to show you Ephraim's life when they return back, decades in the future. And eventually you'd have seen the life pass through this like alternate ending now. You'd have seen the life pass through and you'd have comprehended everything that happened, but it would have gone by in a matter of hours. And eventually, when he passed away, the gatekeeper would have pulled his entity out of the stream of glowing light to show it to you before placing it back in. And that would have been the alternate ending.
Wow.
But that wasn't the ending you got?
No, I got the plucky young hero makes it out alive ending to live another day.
If I'd been a bit more evil, I was thinking of kicking Poodoo into the well.
God, your character turned out way more cold and hearted than I expected.
I was only thinking of that like if I'd been more evil. Like I don't think that didn't fit the.
But there we go. That was the little
Poodoo
story.
was duped all along. He thought you had his back, but he was conned again.
No, it was about it was practicality really.
Did you both enjoy the session? First of all,
yes, it was really good.
Neat.
I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and it gave you some inspiration for your games. This Roll20 has been quite cool. I like that you can, because we didn't actually do it in the game, but you can click on the different things like reveal encounter, reveal danger and stuff, reveal a danger, and it will presumably do that for you.
I had all my moves here. I had all my delves and denizen matrices already prepped. So
yeah,
just be an interesting way to play solo.
Guys, is anyone still with us on stream? Anyone still there?
Yeah, we got a steady stream of voices.
Yeah. Oh, excellent, Tigmic. Thanks for sticking around. Did you guys enjoy it? I hope so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for playing along and giving me some fun inspiration as well for different things to try out and do. That was awesome. That was cool. It's been an absolute blast. It was good fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, Kendall, for joining us.
Oh well, thank you. I mean, I always like to hang out on the pod or whatever. Put me on.
Before starting, Scruffy said, "How long do you think the session will take?" And I said, "About 2.5 hours." We did it in 3. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Definitely, it was pretty much perfect amount of time.
Yeah. I think playing with a GM is a very different experience as well to playing GM-less and playing solo, obviously. And multiplayer Ironsworn's very different to solo Ironsworn as well. So yeah. It's a nice experience because this is something that I hadn't experienced before today.
Yeah.
Nor me.
Yeah. Well, nor me. I mean, I mentioned I've never played Ironsworn before. So.
Oh, yeah. This is your first ever Ironsworn game.
Well, technically, I've done a Your Truths and I've made a character, but I've never done... I can't comprehend solo play for RPGs. I mean, I've listened to all your episodes about it. I've read the rules to it, and I just sit down and I'm like, nope. I don't get this. But
yeah,
having the GM,
it's a challenging thing to start for sure.
It brought it to life.
Yeah, it's a really great one. And Norm's Ironlands was obviously we were in a very specific, weird part of it, but it was a very unusual one, wasn't it? As people in chat mentioned.
Well, yeah, and this is one of my things. I thought if I'm going to do something, if I need to kind of justify my position as GM. Like. If I'm just going to be rolling and interpreting the delve moves, you could be doing that yourself. But if I have this sort of idea of this unique part of the Ironlands that doesn't exist in the book or in the source materials, then at least it kind of justifies my position and brings something new to the game that you wouldn't have if you didn't have a GM, right? That's what I kind of thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. And on that point there, Tigmic, I think it's very fun playing it multiplayer, but I wouldn't say it's very good if you go too high a player count.
Correct.
We played a game with about 5 of us, was it, or more? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And we played that GM-less, but it was a bit much, and it made initiative and fights really difficult, to get around everyone on the table. I think this is quite a sweet spot of 2 players and a GM, or just playing it 2-player without a GM would also probably work. But I wouldn't even, or maybe 3 players would be okay, but I wouldn't want to go more than that.
Yeah, I thought it was very good to have when it came to like initiative and who goes first, just to have somebody. I think my role there was just to ask, what do you want to do with your initiative to both, and then have the action proceed as we worked it out. And with 2 players, that was really easy to do. I felt like we didn't need to formalize it or work out turns or anything. And I think that is the way that Ironsworn plays best. Which is really easy to do solo and becomes more difficult the more players you introduce. But having only 1 more player and a GM to help organise, I think really kept it neat and quick. And you guys rolled pretty well as well, which helped.
Right, well, let's wrap it up here then, guys. We've had a great stream today, and it's been really awesome hanging out with you all. But I think it's time to say goodnight.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed the new podcast episode, which also came out today. And if you're watching this way in the future, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thank you
And
again,
if you're
Kendall.
watching this in the past, well done.
Very impressive. Yeah, night, guys, and thank you again, Kendall. Night, everyone. And
Thanks very much.
Yeah, bye for now.
Bye for now.